Hello and welcome to Casting Roles, a D&D show run by a bunch of theater nerds. Thanks for joining us. Before we begin, you can find us on social media at Casting Roles on Twitter, and we will be expanding our social media presence in the coming weeks. But there are no other announcements, so let's go ahead and start with the show. After making their way to the town of Broadfield, 5 separate adventurers managed somehow to band together into a functioning group. Dubbing themselves the Ticket Takers Club, these 5 nominated the less aptly named Slaughterers to earn the right to potentially become the founding members of the Adventurers Guild. After being challenged by Tavik, the Goliath leader of the Slaughterers, to a final task, the Ticket Takers Club set off to the town of Ipswich to deliver a shipment of much-needed supplies, whose supply shipments had been interrupted by mysterious attacks. During the trip, thanks to some very low perception rolls by a band of gnolls, they were able to surprise the roadside attackers. Capturing one alive, they continued on delivering supplies to the mayor and making their way to the Rusty Nail Tavern for a much-needed evening respite. After taking over the seat of the local piano player, Wash and Saurus regaled the audience with the beautiful sounds, and the music and dancing went through the night, and you all made yourself into a restful, peaceful sleep. The next morning, you all awake, and Saurus and Kaimana, you guys are sharing a room. So you are rising up, and the sun is kind of filtering in through the window, and the day is now upon you.
Was there one bed or two?
There was one bed in this room.
Saurus will sleep on the floor. He's done it before at the monastery. There are things with backstory where a floor and he's a rat, so floor is quite comfortable.
All right, leaves Kaimana free to make like snow angels on the bed.
So you all awake, and Kaimana is just kind of giant bed, very small otter, and so you guys can kind of bring us into your morning there.
Saurus will go up to Kaimana. Kaimana.
Kaimana, all phonetic.
Kaimana. Good. Go up to Kaimana and says, I have a question for you, brother. And I don't mean to offend, and so if I do, please retract it. But were you made?
Great.
My mama told me I was.
So you're natural then?
Yes.
I'm not. And then I go downstairs.
Okay. So
Kaimana will be a while in following. He's not used to the existential thoughts so early in the morning.
All right, so Saurus, you make your way downstairs, and there's nobody else in the tavern, whereas the night before there were 5 or 6 groups of people kind of just enjoying their post-work meals or drinks. But you're there now, and there's a server there, and he kind of sees you and says, breakfast will be served for the next hour or so. So if you want to grab a table, you can get your breakfast, and then slowly the rest of your party join you, and now you kind of are all gathered there at the in the main area of the tavern.
Just kind of curious point of order, I guess. How many rooms did we have?
Like 3.
3 rooms. And we know that Kaimana and Saurus were together, and so.
Furries in one, guys in another, Mara by herself.
Oh, yeah. What she wanted.
She worked that out perfectly. Oh.
All right, so you all come together. Are there any kind of conversations or anything that you want to have before your day commences or picks up?
Oh, Wash is definitely doing his morning just bongo playing and while stretching. like just next to the table, just doing his acting stretches and getting everyone in the morning time mood.
Great. We're sitting next to Matthew McConaughey.
God.
Oh,
He goes
Just
full
like
Meisner.
banging on his chest. The worst.
Method acting.
he starts his day very early.
While you're all kind of there and as Wash is doing his stretches, the server comes by, and it's a different server from the night before. The night before you had the elven or half elven gentleman, and this is a young human female, and she comes up and just says, "Can I get any breakfast for any of you? Or are you just kind of enjoying the space?" And she looks weirdly at Wash as he stretches and does his exercises in the middle of the tavern.
Yes, breakfast, please.
Okay, just a general breakfast: meat and potatoes, eggs.
No meat for me, if that's
No
okay.
meat? Okay.
I will have a serving of meat.
Oh, goodness. Sorry, I missed that. So we've got one meat and potatoes, one just potatoes and eggs, no meat. And then you, my stretchy friend, what did you say you wanted?
2 eggs and a thin slice of meat, please.
I got you. And the others, anything that I can get you?
I will
Food.
have a serving of meat, please.
Okay.
You have any fish, man?
I can check. Yes. Would you also like potatoes or anything like that as well?
Tater's good. Yeah.
Okay, good. And so she goes back and she's kind of gonna get your stuff together. So you just have a little bit of a wait before the meal arrives, and you're all kind of just sitting there awkwardly, realizing probably that you just traveled and spent the night with people that you just met a few hours before, the night before. So after a moment, she brings out the things and she sets the plates out. And there's one that doesn't have meat, and she sets it in front of Mar, and then everybody else gets meat. And then there is a very small plate that looks like it has what might have been the fish and chips meal that was left over from the night before. But she places that in front of Kaimana and then kind of heads off. And then a moment later, she brings back tankards of water, and there's kind of she sets down like a flagon of some kind of breakfast mead or some such, and she sets it there as
Goat
well.
milk.
Goat milk. Would you like some goat milk? And she kind of points in your way direction, Soros. Would you like some milk?
I'm fine with whatever we have.
Okay. She kind of checks, and then she walks off and kind of leaves you all to your meal. And the meal was included with what the mayor set up for you all with the rooms, so you don't have to worry about paying for it.
Continental breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
What would like knowledge of etiquette fall under, Josh?
For Kaimana,
Yeah.
let's probably it's
History.
probably a history check. Yeah.
Seven. So
You definitely fall back on
Yeah.
what you know from living with your otter family.
This is going to be good.
Yeah.
He does a lot of shredding and then like picking it up and like dropping it into his mouth. So it's just a lot of
It's just like eating it like off your chest as you're
yeah,
laying
yeah,
back.
yeah. Like
That's kind
bashes on the table a couple of times.
Source is a very fastidious eater, very precise.
Keeps his whiskers clean.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
He's got thumbs and damn well going to use them.
Abel is not a morning person. I will just keep my head down and just slowly nibble on my potatoes and double servings of meat.
Can I really quick flip through like my little like journal I keep for myself and flip to my moon chart and see what's going on there?
Yes, for you've been keeping pretty close track of the moon phases and things like that. You do know
Mhm.
that like the last major event in the moons was that there was a new moon,
Okay.
and
Cool.
so you know that you are probably halfway or so between the new moon and the full moon,
Cool.
probably near perigee of the moon. So
Yeah, neat.
you know you got yeah. So the next major event would be probably in a week or so.
Cool. Thank you.
Hmm.
So, the first day went fairly well, considering that we don't know each other.
Yes, we were very successful in our fight against the Norse.
Do you think we'll run into any on the way back?
I am almost certain we will. The amount of supplies they stole, I do not believe 3 or 4 Norse would need that many supplies.
Unless they was selling it.
That is true. What do you think we should do with the captive Nor that we have? Bringing him back?
Yeah, we do have him.
Yes. I
I
do
was
not believe.
thinking.
Sorry, go ahead, Sorus.
I was thinking that we take him back with us and find someone who speaks Nolish, or that can speak a language he can understand, and that we can query them. I have a feeling that their tribe is around here somewhere, and that's who they were robbing for. So perhaps rather than eradicating an entire village of gnolls, we could figure out what it is they want and perhaps convince them to trade rather than steal.
Hmm. It is a very diplomatic approach to take.
Or we can let Marlowe hit things very hard.
It's kind of what I do. But I mean, I think your option sounds good, Saurus.
If that one don't work, it's always
Yes.
good to have a backup plan.
Yes, then we can hit things, no?
Yes, then Marlowe hits things very hard.
Yeah, the swords will be plan B.
Is there anything we need to do in town before we leave on our trip back?
I guess just grab the null, huh?
Yes.
We need to load the wagon.
The mayor did
yes.
say that she would have the wagon loaded and ready for you in the morning.
Kimana, are you going to pull the wagon again, or are we going to use the mayor? M-A-R-E, not M-A-Y-O-R.
It's an important distinction.
Do you think I should, or
Well, perhaps since we're not in so much of a rush, we could hitch the wagon to the mayor and take our time. We don't have to push her as hard as we would have coming this way.
that's
True.
right. Good.
And should we run into more gnolls, that would free up Kimana.
This is true. Okay, I think we should stop by the mayor's and show our appreciation and then pick up our prisoner.
Good. And as you guys are finishing up your meal, the door of the Rusty Nail does open, and the mayor steps in. And you kind of did last night. You kind of caught her in her less official business at home, and now she's dressed in not a garish outfit, but something like presentable and fitting of her role as the mayor of the town. And she comes in and she sees you all sitting there, and she says, "Oh, good. It's glad you're all awake and ready to go. We did finish loading up the cart, and it is out front. But I didn't want to forget before you left. I gave you the gold last night for the." For ridding the town of this problem, but I forgot to give you this. And she hands over to Mar a scroll that has the seal of the town on it. And she says, I'm not sure if you're supposed to open it, but part of the deal that we did make with Roland was that you would receive one of these. It's a writ of commendation.
Thank you.
Mhm.
That I'll put it with my stuff.
Yeah. And so you have one writ of commendation from the mayor of Ipswich, and then she kind of just says, "Well, I've got everything ready to go. The last thing the lawmaster did want to know: are you taking the null with you, or did you want him to stay here in the jail?"
We're going to take him with us.
Okay, so I'll make sure that the lawmaster brings him in chains back. I suppose you take him to to Broadfield. So I'll go and do that, and then I'll meet you all out front whenever you're finished with your meal. And thank you. So good to see you all
Madam
again.
Mayor, may I ask you, Madam Mayor, before you
Oh,
leave,
yeah. Yes.
do
Yes.
you have an herbalist in town who can perhaps sedate our prisoner, just to ensure that he would not give us any trouble on our travels?
Well, I can do that.
Oh, okay. Sorry, we are a group. I do not know all of my friends' capabilities as of yet. Thank you.
Well, it's fortunate because we generally have to travel for those types of resources as a small community. But so it's good that you have that ability. And she says, so thank you all so much. And she heads out. And so she's going to go get the lawmaster and bring the knoll to your cart. So
it's a filthy thing.
What check do you want me to make for a to concoct a sleeping draft? I guess.
So you are proficient in the alchemy. So you can go ahead and make an alchemist supplies check. I suppose that would be, let's say,
Medicine?
intelligence plus your proficiency bonus.
Medicine.
Yeah, so whatever your medicine. Well, yeah, are you proficient in medicine?
Yes.
So then that would be you can roll with that. Yep.
Okay. 21.
21. So it as everyone else is kind of finishing their meal, you take out a vial that you already have kind of a pre-prepared solution in, and then you take out some herbs that you know that when mashed properly and mixed properly with this solution will put something to sleep for a little while at least. And you kind of macerate the herbs in your teeth, and then you kind of shove them in, and you're shaking it up, and eventually, like everyone's just kind of watching you do this at the table. But you have a pretty decent kind of something that will, like melatonin, but a little bit stronger. It'll knock them right out, and give them a kind of a peaceful sleep for a little while.
Perhaps we could soak it in a piece of bread and get him to eat it.
I can just shove it in.
I just kind of cram it down.
Eat it. No, we can just put it right in there, I think.
No.
Just pinch his nose.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that could work too. I was just gonna, put it right in. But yeah, that'll work.
Well, let's try to be.
I'll slowly hand the vial to.
Yeah, and with your knowledge, kind of, if you had more time, you could probably do something similar to like if he smelled it, it would knock him out. But you probably just don't have time to do that this morning to concoct it. So this has got like a quick fix for you.
Yeah.
Marlo, you are a very direct person, aren't you?
What makes you say that?
Just the impression I'm getting.
Don't get it on your hands.
Okay. Marlo leaves.
So Marlo, as you're heading out, like the moment you open the door and leave it, you immediately you see right in front of the tavern. The cart is there. The mayor is already hooked up to it. The mayor, not the mayor. And you do see kind of coming down the road. There's a couple guards. Looks like local watchmen, and a short, stout, kind of gnomish figure with a big beard, and he's walking in front of the guards who have the knoll between them, and he's shackled. His hands shackled and his legs shackled, and they're kind of connected together. And the mayor's standing there, and she says, "Oh, everything's all ready, and the lawmaster is arriving with your prisoner, so everything's set up to go."
Great. Thank you so much for your hospitality.
Thank you for your help. You're welcome back at Ipswich anytime.
Thank you. Means a lot. I'll head over to the knoll.
Okay.
I want to chase outside and try to catch up with her real quick.
Okay.
And I just want to ask you, like, can you please do it as gently as possible? Like, I know he tried to kill us, but it's not fun, in his position either.
Oh no, I was gonna make it it's not gonna be painless, but like as painless as possible.
Okay, thank you.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And from your perspective, the knoll is not resisting too much. It's kind of like
That's cool.
it seems like it's kind of resigned to its current predicament, not necessarily meaning that it wouldn't later on, but it's not actively resisting.
Cool. Yeah, then I'll just get him to drink it.
Yeah, and when you get closer, you do notice they did muzzle him to it.
Oh,
Oh,
I'll take that off.
that-
Like he kind of jerks back from you a little bit, but can't get too far, held between the guards, and you unlatch it. And the little gnomish fellow is like, I don't think that's a good idea, Missy.
No. I got this. And I just gonna hold up the vial and I go, you probably don't want to be conscious right now. Yeah. So I just like try to see if he'll drink it.
Roll up a weird persuasion check.
A very weird persuasion check.
Yeah.
What's my
Slightly
persuasion? It can't be fucking good, huh?
This is going to be the best roll of the game.
5.
5. So the
Get it
gnome-
out
There's going to
now.
be pain involved.
He definitely like it kind of like rears back as much as he can. Not sure exactly what you're holding. He doesn't open his mouth and welcome this drink into.
Can I? This is okay. Like I don't want to like do damage, right? But can I just kind of like palm press his forehead and just kind of like shove it in there, like just kind of like hold him and get it? Can I do that?
Yeah. Just roll a grapple check.
Okay. That's
A real
this'll
gentle
go
touch.
better, I think. What is grapple? What is that?
Your athletics.
Fuck. Worse.
Super strong.
It's worse.
Roll
No.
Roll with advantage because he is restrained.
Okay. Well. So the first one's a -1. That's better. That's a 19 down to 16.
Good. And I wouldn't have had you roll normally because he was restrained and so it should
Mhm.
automatically hit, but you are trying to get it into his head. So
Yeah.
after a little bit of struggle, you do manage to kind of get him by the back of the head and like tilt it a little bit, and you put the vial up, and there's a little bit of a brief kind of like fight for it, but the liquid does seem to go down his throat.
Cool.
And after a few minutes or so of kind of waiting, you see him kind of drowse a little bit and then nod off.
Okay, I'll put the muzzle back on and just chuck him in the back of the cart.
Okay, easy enough. I guess not, maybe for you, not easy enough, but definitely.
I make it seem. I try to pass it off like it is.
Yeah, good. All right, everyone else joining in.
Yes,
Yep.
I will finish up my breakfast. I'll leave 2 gold on the table for the waitress.
Okay, and as the waitress she takes it and she's like, thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much. And she walks off.
Maybe should have said 1 gold. I'm not deep yet.
If there's
Yeah,
any
go-
like table scraps like on the table, Kayana's just kind of like one arm sweep it like all into like a bag.
Okay, and like
Doing like
some
a
of the glasses and things or the little plates go with it, and the waitress sees this happen, but then also realizes there's 2 gold in her hand and just she lets you
Oh,
take
no,
them.
I'll put,
It's
You're
fine.
good.
I'll put the flatware back up. Like, I can't eat that.
Yeah. So, good. So you've got table scraps there, Kaimana, ready to go.
That's my road
Snack.
food. Yep.
That is very smart.
You've
Okay,
got
I'll head
pocket
out
meat.
Just head out towards the cart and see what the road what awaits us on the road, right?
All right, so you all are gathered at the cart. The mayor has kind of gone off. She kind of said enough goodbyes for all of you, and she's gone off to handle business. The lawmaster, seeing the knoll just kind of tossed into the cart, just hands a key over to you, Mar, that'll unlock the shackles, and says, kind of just waves farewell and goes off. The guards stick around a little bit to kind of see you leave, but the path is open for you all to head back to Broadfield.
Right. I'll take point again.
Okay, so got Saurus leading. Who's Mari driving the cart again?
Sure.
Okay.
I would hop on the back of the cart with the knoll and like
Yeah, I wanna-
inspect.
All right, and Kaimana, where you at?
I am going to walk alongside the cart.
Okay, good. All right, so you guys are all walking, and you're familiar enough with this territory as you guys are kind of passing through. As after you leave town, you clear a couple hills and you come around to that roadside shrine to the 8 gods again, and you're kind of passing by that and you keep going. And after about an hour's travel or so, you come you're nearing where you kind of know that the attack happened the day before. So, Source, if you want to roll a perception check as you're approaching that zone.
Oh, that's not good. That is a 7.
7. So you kind
Being
of
grace.
it's a little bit of it's an odd approach. The day before the approach was more straight, and this is kind of around a bend. And so you're getting pretty close up to it before you suddenly before Source realizes, oh, like this is where we were. But you don't see you don't see anything in the woods nearby. You don't see anything up ahead. And so you're kind of just rolling up on that location. The 2 logs are still there where you moved the one out of the way, but they are still there, kind of in the road.
Keep going.
You guys want to keep on trucking through?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, and as you're passing by, you do notice, I think Kaimana, you would notice this for sure, that the 2 null bodies that you left behind are gone.
Oh. Mm. So, okay.
I know nature reclaims things, but they don't work that fast.
What do you mean, Kamana? What are you noticing?
The bodies are gone. Are there drag marks?
Yeah.
You need to stop to investigate.
Yeah, I would like to.
Or I guess if you want to let the cart go on while you investigate, that's also fine too, Kamana, because you're not in the
I
cart.
catch up.
It'll take a little while to do the little kind of S around the trees, so that makes sense.
Yeah. So the cart's going to keep moving on ahead. Kaimana, go ahead and roll an investigation check, or you can roll. You specifically look for you can either do investigation or survival.
Okay, that is a survival check. My character sheet will unfreeze. 13.
13. So you get the sense that there was a dragging that happened, but at some point the bodies stopped being dragged, and kind of towards the edge of the forest you can see just what seems to be puddles of what is now dried blood, where the bodies were dragged to a certain point, and then there's now just blood there.
Like they were eaten?
You get the sense that the body made it that far, and then there's just, this is what remains.
Okay. I'm gonna hurry to catch up to the cart.
Okay, you make your rush to get to the cart, and so as you're kind of rushing back to the cart, Kamada, you suddenly start to get this sense. What's your passive perception?
Let's see.
It's pretty high.
Yeah, it is. My laptop froze, so hang on a second. It's gonna be I think it's 16 because it's proficiency
16.
plus,
Okay, yeah.
plus wisdom plus 10. Is that right?
Yeah. Okay, good. So as you're heading back to the cart, so the cart, as you were doing this kind of search or whatever, the cart continued on, probably got 60 or 70 feet away, and as you start to make your way back, you start to feel of some vibrations from underneath the ground, and there's kind of this rumbling that's building up near and around you, and you can feel that it's kind of getting closer towards you, and so you kind of keep making your way towards the cart.
Yeah, I'm gonna start running now.
Okay. I need you to go ahead and roll a dexterity saving throw.
Oh God.
What is
It
happening?
came from below.
Okay, 17.
17. So as you're kind of focused on this and you're kind of running towards the cart, there is you can feel now that the rumbling is centering underneath you, and you manage to dive out of the way just as popping out of the ground is what appears to be a very, very large cockroach. And
Okay.
so
We are
we'll
not
go
okay with
ahead
this as a
and
group.
yeah, that was their survival check, or that was their surprise round. And so go ahead and everybody roll initiative as this beast pops out of the ground and comes out of the way.
Initiative. That's nice.
15.
All right, Mar, what was your initiative?
13.
13, and you guys did have a long rest, so your HP and everything is full, so you're good. Wash,
15.
15. Kaimana,
I'm looking at a 13.
13. Okay. Saurus,
I 3 am a 13.
Oh, you are okay. Also a 13. Good. Abel,
I wrote a 4. So
or plus your initiative. That's what do you get?
I rolled a 3 and plus.
All
Don't rub
right.
it in.
That's okay. That's okay. All right. So, up first, Wash, you hear kind of Kaimana making a shout from behind you as this, and you turn around just in time enough to see this thing popping up out of the ground. So you are up first.
I'm gonna look at the thing and yell vicious or use vicious mockery, and I'm gonna say, "Ugh, you came out of the ground." Ugh.
And that
Who
is
starts a battle like that?
is that a charisma saving throw?
Until the spell ends, creature is immune to being frightened and gains temporary hit points equal to my ability modifier.
What? I think you're reading the wrong one.
Yeah, that's not vicious mockery.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You don't want that.
Wisdom saving throw, and that's going to be a 14, or take 1d4.
14. Okay,
psychic
that's
damage.
7.
It can't be very
Okay,
wise.
so go ahead and roll the damage on that.
That's a 4, and he has
And it has-
disadvantage on.
It's advantage on its next attack roll. Okay.
Good stuff.
You really got in his head. He's self-conscious now.
And it's kind of hard to tell where its head is, but he definitely got into it. All right, how much damage does that roll there, Wash?
4.
4 points of damage. Very good. So so you shout this out, and you kind of weave the magic into your words, and suddenly like the beast, which had just dived for Kaimana out of the ground, kind of like reels back for a second, hit by it, and looks a little bit stunned for a moment. All right, takes us to Saurus.
I am going to run 45 feet towards this thing.
Okay. All right, so you can get about there.
Does that put him within 20 feet of me?
Yes, just within 20 feet.
Y'all get to hear what a pistol sounds like.
Boy.
There's
Alright.
going to be a
So do you
loud
pull out-
explosion, lots of smoke.
All right, so you pull out your flintlock and go ahead and fire.
That is a 15 plus 4, so 19.
That definitely hits, so you can go ahead and roll your damage there.
Okay. And that is going to be a 4 plus 4, so 8.
8 points of damage. All right, cool. So you all watch as Saurus kind of pulls out this pistol and kind of lights it, and then pulls the trigger, and the the flintlock hits the flash pan, and there's this explosion, and smoke goes everywhere. And then you've never seen anything like this before, and the beast suddenly reels back, hit by something that you didn't see hit it. And
I don't seem to be blown up.
yeah, Storis is kind of wreathed in smoke, but he's not on fire and he looks fine. So that's your action and movement. Do you want to do anything with your bonus action there, Storis?
Yeah, No, I'm going to save my key points.
Okay.
So I'm good there.
All right, that's good. Up next, we've got Mar.
I can get to this thing on a dash. Yeah.
10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. What's your movement speed?
Yeah, it's a 30, so I'll take the full dash action and just get to him.
Okay.
And then I will bonus action Crimson Right, so I stick myself with my knuckles and then let the blood drip on my sword. So
All right,
start
and so
lighting
you
up.
take, how much do you take from that?
Let's see how much I take. 2 points of damage.
2 points of damage. And so Mar charges forward and kind of dashes in, and as she's doing it, you see she kind of flicks this thing on her brass knuckles, and then there's kind of blood trickling down her palm, and then the blade gets wreathed in lightning, and then she's preparing herself for an attack on the creature. All right, which takes us to Kaimana.
I will cast Shillelagh
Okay.
and beat it with my quarterstaff.
All right, so you move. You can get to flanking position.
Yeah.
With Mar there, and so you kind of activate the runes, and like the runes. It's almost like runes kind of appear out of your staff, and they kind of, and then it like hardens, and then go ahead and take your hit.
All right.
Bless you.
That would be ace. Let's see. That is a 15.
15 just hits. So go ahead and
Okay.
roll damage. It's a D8.
Yep. 5.
5 points of damage. All right, this thing is taking it from all. Did you roll with advantage
No,
on your attack roll? Go ahead and roll again just to make sure it's not a natural 20.
not a crit. It is an at 20.
Okay.
All right.
So
Oh my god.
do you want to take
That's
we'll
fine.
take the attack roll or re-roll?
I'll just roll one more d8, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Plus 7, so 12 points of damage.
Okay. Plus 7. So there we go.
Sweet. Thanks, Mark.
Very nice. You guys had a strong opening round against the Sound Cake. So as Kaimana bashes into it, it kind of lurches in your direction a little bit more, and it's kind of staggering on its feet a little bit. And then for a moment, it kind of clears its head, and then it rears back, and in this line here, so that'll get Saurus, and also, yeah, just Saurus really. It kind of clears its head enough, and it releases a blast of acidic energy, or not energy, but acidic vial kind of shoots out of its mouth in your direction, Saurus. I need you to roll a dexterity saving throw.
Let's see, that is an 11 plus 4, so 15 plus... Actually, that's 2 more because of proficiency, so that's 17.
Okay, good. So you succeed, but you take, that was a very, very good roll. You take 8 points of poison damage, and as this kind of, or this acid damage, as it kind of hits your skin and like burns through portions of your arm, but you are able to kind of get out of the way of most of this blast, but you definitely wouldn't have wanted to take it full front. And then at that point, you guys at the front of the cart begin to feel this kind of, the mare is jumping and is getting a little skittish, and out of the ground there pops it looks like a giant scorpion, but it's another one of these kind of cockroachy looking creatures kind of pops out of the ground there. And it is going to
Camera up a
take
little bit.
let me see. And it there you go. And it is going to go ahead and make a bite attack at you, Wash.
Oh no.
It's probably not going to hit though. That is a 12 to hit.
And yep.
Oh, that does hit. Ooh. Okay. And so it kind of pops out of the ground right next to you and surprises you, and you take 4 points of piercing damage from the initial attack, and then you kind of feel this like pulse of acid kind of from its maw kind of gripping into your skin, and you take an additional 3 points of acid damage from the acid, and then I need you to roll a and you are grappled by this creature. It now has you kind of in its bite, and it's kind of shaking you back and forth, and you are currently grappled by it, which means your speed is 0.
Okay.
All right. Up next is Abel. So you just saw Abel, another one of these creatures pop out of the ground next to you and Wash at the front, and the mayor's kind of freaking out there at the front at the cart.
Okay, if I were to come around to the side of it, would that be considered flanking or?
In order to flank, you would need to get to this side of the creature over here.
Does he have enough movement to do that?
Yeah, you have enough movement to get there. You want to
Would
flank?
it get an opportunity attack if I did? I don't know. I'm just wanna...
You would roll with advantage on the attack roll.
But it wouldn't get like an opportunity attack me from moving near.
No,
No,
because
because you would stay within its melee range, and so the only way you would get the opportunity attack is if you left its melee range.
Okay, all right.
you didn't turn your back to it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to use my firebolt cantrip. So I'm going to get my little side flint, little one-handed flint clicker that I use, and I'm going to aim at it and cast firebolt.
Just as a reference, so the flanking bonus only applies to melee attacks. So if you attack it with a spell from this distance, then you would have disadvantage on the spell.
Oh, can I back up a little bit then?
Yeah, so we'll retroact and put you kind of
We're gonna
here.
retcon this.
I'm gonna back it up a little
Yeah,
bit.
that's okay.
This is what he considered doing. It's not what
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm a very
Ran through it all in his
intellectual guy. I was running through all the scenarios in my head and just. So yeah, I'm gonna cast firebolt at it.
This one attacking Wash.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So go ahead and roll your spell attack roll.
That's an 18 to hit.
Definitely hits. Go ahead and roll your d10 damage.
And my D10. Oh well, that sucks. It's 2.
2 points of damage. So you're still kind of shaken by the sudden appearance of this large cockroach, and you kind of release the spell, and it does make contact with it, but it just kind of glints off the chitinous outer armor of the creature, and it still has Wash kind of in its bite, just kind of shaking him back and forth. But that does take us back up to Wash. That is at the beginning of your roll.
Okay, so I'm going to open up my mouth
Okay.
and do my lightning breath.
Okay.
Like,
Like,
it's just gonna be nonchalantly just turn.
okay. So is that a line attack or is it a cone?
It's a cone.
It's a
5
cone?
on 30 foot.
A 30-foot cone. Yeah, you would just get the creature in the attack, and so go ahead. He gets a dexterity saving throw. Is that correct?
Of 14.
14. He rolled a 12 on his dexterity saving throw, so he takes full damage. So go ahead and roll that damage.
2d6.
Roll that beautiful damage.
4 and 3, 7 hot breath.
7 hot breath.
I like
So as Wash is kind of being shaken back and forth by this creature, you guys see him for a second kind of just lean back, and then he opens his mouth, and this like burst of lightning energy just kind of crackles out of his mouth and sprays all across the this creature, and like kind of hits the ground, and there's like dust flying up from the implosions, and it crackles along the outer shell of this creature, and it does kind of some good damage to it. And so that's your turn.
For my bonus action, I wanted to give Abel Bardic Inspiration.
Okay, how do you inspire him?
Do better next time.
All right. So with those wise words from Wash, Abel, you go and take your D6 inspiration die that you can use on any attack rolls or saving throws. Good. And then that takes us to Saurus.
I'm going to move to within melee range. Can I get flanking in a position where I can get flanking?
If you would go for the new one that popped up, you could get flanking. Kind of Kaimana is blocking the flanking from the other side.
Yeah, I'll go to the new one.
Okay, cool. So I think you can make that there. 5, 10, 15, 20, 20. Yep, easy enough. All right, so you're in flanking with the creature. You can go ahead and make your 2 attacks.
First attack is a miss.
Okay. It just kind of clings against the outer shell and kind of slides off.
Yeah, I'm going to use one of my key points and Flurry of Blows for the second.
Okay.
Which gives me 2 more attacks. 19.
Hits.
And that one does... Because this is hand-to-hand, 2. That does a total of 6.
Okay.
And then my second blow is higher.
Okay, hits.
And that does the same amount of damage, 6.
Another 6 points of damage. So good. So let's like 18 points of damage in one round or whatever, or 12 points. Yeah, close to 18 points of damage in the first. That's awesome. Good roll, Saurus. And so you're hit with your kind of the first hit glance off, but then you just boom right in, and you can see some of the shell kind of cracking and exposing some of the interior, and there's kind of this ooze that's starting to kind of leak out of the cracks in the shell that you're making, and it's starting to look hurt. So nice roll there. Mar, that takes to you.
Cool. I'm gonna take my attacks on this one right here.
Okay. And you are flanking with sword. You can't see Kaimana behind there.
But I feel that he's there.
Yeah. So you get advantage on those strikes.
Cool. So that's a 20 something to hit.
Hits.
Yeah. Okay. So the first one is 10 points of damage with 3 lightning damage.
All right, and so you kind of reap a curse with the first rapier, and this arc of electrical energy is kind of like almost making like a after image effect of the blade as it flies through the air, and you kind of stab deep into the creature, and you kind of feel it like jerk and then hiss and then collapse against the rapier.
Okay.
So that one's down. All right.
Cool. I can't get to the other one on my movement, can
Probably
I? In
not.
30?
No, you'd just be just out of range if you wanted to move in its direction.
Ah, frick.
But
Okay.
that'll let you get there for next round.
Yeah, I'll get over there and I'll does this work? Can I do this? I'll do no, I won't do that. I won't do anything.
Okay.
I'll just look at it menacingly.
So
I'll end my turn.
and you're ready to go, and you end your turn. All right, good.
Yeah.
That takes us to Kaimana. And so Kaimana, you just saw, like as you're staring at this creature, you hit it with your staff, and then suddenly, like the point of a rapier,
You're going in and out.
of lightning energy that kind of flashes in your face for a second, and then the creature falls dead right in front of you, and now it's your go. So.
Okay. I will cast Magic Stone.
Oh, is it Kaimana? It's your go.
Yeah, I will cast a Magic Stone on the stuff in the stones I keep in my little pocket, and
Okay. So you empower those.
I will yeet one at it.
What's the range for? Is that a 60 feet?
I've got a sling, so it should be enough. But
Okay. Yeah. It's it's even you need to, you can move a few feet forward to make sure you're in range. I think sling range is maybe 60 feet, so just move you a little bit forward for that. Go ahead and roll your attack using the magic stones.
Sure. Oh, it's 3120 for sling. So.
Okay, yeah. So you need to move a little bit closer.
Yeah.
Meep.
Yeah, right there.
That's probably a miss. 11.
And, that misses. So you kind of you swing around and you release your sling, and the stone kind of sails just a little bit over its head and then off into the brush behind.
Some poor bird just gets
You kill us.
obliterated.
You kill us.
But you do have you
just
have the other
explodes.
stones left over for the next round after that.
Yep,
So-
I got 2 left.
Good. Okay. Cool. Which takes us to the creature's turn, and so it is going to swing around this way, and you do get an attack of opportunity on its source as it moves.
Is it still holding me?
Yeah, but it's kind of just like rotating its body around you, so it's not moving more than 5 feet away from you. But Source, you get a
17.
17 hits, so you can go and roll damage on that.
And that is 7.
7 points of damage. All right, so as you're going, you kind of you smack against its outer shell as it's kind of retreating, and some more cracks appear. But it is going to look down this, and it opens its mouth, which drops you, Wash. But then, as soon as it releases, there's this spray of venom that kind of shoots out in a line, and it's going to hit Wash and Mars. So I need both of you to roll dexterity saving throws.
Oh.
Cool.
Those hurt, by the way.
Yeah.
18.
18, you're good. You'll take half damage on that. And Wash?
I have 17.
17, you also only take half damage. And so you will take 4 points of acid damage as the creature it aimed a little too high, and so it's just kind of the rain of acid that kind of catches you at the last little bit, but you can feel it burning against you, and you definitely wouldn't want that full force from the creature. And that's
Really?
going to end.
4?
Yeah.
I took 8.
I
Well,
I
it's
rolled
split between 2 people, so okay, that makes sense.
I rolled really, really high on yours and not high at all on theirs. So, so that gives that's the end of its turn, which takes us up to Abel.
I guess I'll hold where I am.
Okay.
And I aim with my crossbow. See if I can hit him ranged.
All right. Go ahead and roll that attack.
15 plus 3, 18 to hit.
That will hit.
And it's 1d8 plus 1. Okay, 7 damage.
7 points of damage.
Oh, wait. Can I do my Bardic Inspiration? No, that's just for attack, not for damage, right?
Yeah, it's just for the attack roll.
Sorry.
Yeah. But 7 points of damage. All right. So you kind of you're getting a clear shot, like right as Wash falls and this acid spray kind of flies out. You pull out your crossbow and aim just enough that it kind of flies right past Wash and connects with the creature, and it reels back, and you can see that you probably pierced its its vial, like where it stores its acid, because now it's just kind of running down its neck, and it's kind of shaking and reeling. It's looking really, really, really hurt. Which takes us to Saurus. Or did you want to move at all, Abel? Or just stay where you are?
No, I'm old where I am.
Good. And actually, sorry, I missed it there. It goes takes to Wash, not Saurus, but yeah. But Saurus, you're on deck.
I'm gonna look at him and do a vicious mockery.
Okay.
Saving throw of 14 wisdom.
9. So go ahead and roll that D4 damage.
You're gonna mock this thing to death. This is gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be great.
I want to look at him and squint and be like, "You brought all those legs and still don't know how to dance."
Roll that D4.
3 damage.
3 points of damage. Okay, so, the spell kind of rings out through your voice, and like you can see, like I mean, it can barely lift itself up. There's just gushing of this acid coming down its throat. It is just hanging on by a thread. But you're there. Are you going to move or do anything, Wash? Are you going to stay where you are?
Stay where you are so I can flank.
All right, stay where you are. And Soros, that takes us to you.
Oh,
Do you have a bonus action there, Soros? Go ahead.
Hang on. Go ahead,
to
Ben.
Source for Bardic Inspiration.
All right,
And I'll be like, show him the fancy feet.
all right. So you got
I'm
your
going to
geese
sweep
pick.
the legs.
Okay,
All 3 of them.
go ahead and roll with advantage.
Natural 19 plus 6, so that's a 25 to hit
That'll hit.
without using the inspiration.
Go ahead and roll damage on that one, and we'll see how
6.
6 points damage. So tell me how you do that.
I sweep all 3 legs.
All right, so you sweep underneath it, and it gushing this vile acid, and now mixed with its own blood and the cracks in its shell. You sweep its legs out from underneath it, and it collapses back on the ground and just kind of curls up and is now dead. So very nice. Right.
Although if you poke it for the next 2 days, it will still twitch.
That's true. Yeah. Like
Bad.
its little antenna are just kind of going as you're kind of checking in there. But as far as you can see around you right now, that there is no more threat.
Can I investigate this thing to figure out, like, did it come through the rift? Is this like a naturally occurring thing here? Did these things just happen by some act of God? I don't know. Like, what's up with this?
Yeah, you go ahead and roll a. I'll let you make the decision on the type of thing, but the result would be different. So you can either roll a nature check or you can roll a kind of a history check.
Okay, let me see. They're the same. History it is. Terrible. 7.
You kind of rack your brain for like any lessons that you might have learned in your training, and it's not clear. It does not look at all like the other creature that you saw, with the same type of effect on its body.
Right. Sure. Okay.
Yeah, it looks pretty normal, other than just being very large.
I asked Kimana if they've ever seen anything like this since they're the druid.
Can I make a roll?
Go ahead, come on. Do a nature or history.
Whoops. That is a 17.
17. So you've never seen a creature that looks just like this one, but you have seen on your home island some very similar large insects that have multiple legs and are this kind of size. The shape's a little bit different, and the ones that you're familiar with, you know, like they're kind of like diving bell insects, where they have the ability to kind of go into the water and put like, you know, like that bubble of air around them. These don't look capable of doing that, but they look kind of like maybe cousins to something that you're familiar with from back home.
I'm going to point at it. Big fat cockroacha. Auntie hit it with slipper.
Oh, wow. Goodness gracious.
I will
And you
go
know,
to
back home, like people stay away from these. Yeah.
I will go to calm the mayor. M-A-R-E, not M-A-Y-O-R.
I'll
Okay,
go.
you go calm the mayor. Go
I'll
ahead and
go
roll an animal
assist.
handling check, Taurus, and with advantage because Kaimon is assisting.
I want to just like slowly raise my hand and be like, are any of you guys tailors or healers?
No. Oh no. Do I have any?
No.
I'm just gonna like slump over to the cart and be like,
Oh, I do have. I can cure you a bit.
As soon as Kaimana's done helping calm the mare down, he's going to go help tend to Wash.
Can I make like a basic medicine check on Wash just to like, I don't know, stop bleeding? Something like
Sure,
that.
Go to roll a medicine check.
I rolled
Source,
an
what was your
18.
animal handling? An 8. Okay, so it doesn't take you long because you have beast speech. In its own way, the mayor immediately understands what you're saying and it calms. And the only reason it kind of communicates to you that the only reason it hadn't bolted was that the cart was so heavy that it knew it couldn't get away. But
Oh,
you were
no.
you're able to kind of calm it down. Go ahead. What was your medicine check there, Mar?
It's a natural 20. I cure him of anything he's ever had in his life.
So Mar unexpectedly, like with a tender hand and careful application of bandages, is able to clean your wounds and stop all bleeding. So with that excellent
Got rid of
medicine
that
check,
foot fungus
and
you had. All.
with the support of let's see, Abel, you're getting a cure wounds on him? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I was, but if I can still do
I
it.
can't do like any HP help. I just kind of put a
Yeah,
band-aid on
she
him.
stopped his bleeding. He's not going to
Oh,
get
yeah.
infected or anything like that. But
She made him feel better.
yeah,
Yeah.
Mommy kissed the
Very-
boo-boo.
Mother's
beautiful.
touch.
It was a beautiful caress. It was a mother's touch. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll cast a cure wounds on him.
Okay.
That's a D8 plus 3. Let's see.
He
5.
took 4 damage.
Oh,
Well,
8.
Oh,
no,
no,
I
he took
took
more than
a
that. Sorry.
yeah, I
got
took
chewed on.
13.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
He took 13 points.
I'll,
Yep.
I'll heal you for 8 damage. I'll heal you.
8. All right. So you take your 8 points there.
Yeah, it's a level 1.
All right.
Jeez,
say
how many hit points do you have?
16.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah. You needed that, buddy. You needed that.
All right. So you've got the dead body of the Ankeg there. Now that Kaimana kind of
Hold it.
recognizes it. Yeah. And then the other one there, and then you've calmed the mayor down.
Are we concerned about these creatures? Like even with
highly, highly concerned about this.
Okay. Maybe what I'll do is I'll reach down and I'll pick up a small little pebble and I'll use my what is it called? Magical tinkering ability.
Okay.
And I'll take like a static image of the dead creature, the one that I'm closest to.
Okay.
And I'll infuse it into the stone. So whenever I touch it or whatever, that image will pop up. And maybe there's like a Arcana person or some kind of historian that can give us more information back in town about this creature if they have a good, almost like 3D image of this animal.
All right. So as Abel is kind of, you see him taking out this stone and kind of working some runic magic around it, and you're not really sure what he's doing, but it does give you guys a moment to kind of take a breather and take a short rest if you want to go ahead and accomplish that here, if you need to. Okay. So
Yeah, I'm
while
gonna roll a hit dice.
okay, so while Abel is completing this, everyone else can take a short rest. And then at the end of that, Abel, your tinkering will have been completed.
Okay.
Then during it, I'm gonna sing a song of rest, so everyone gets an extra 1d6 hit die.
All right. Yeah. So if you're rolling a hit die, you can roll an extra d6. Yep.
I rolled a 2 and a 1.
3 points of hit. There you go.
It
Can I roll
helps.
that?
Don't get me wrong.
You're doing something during their short rest. So
It
unless
is, I didn't
everyone,
take any damage, so it doesn't matter.
okay.
I didn't take any damage. So.
Oh, Jesus. Well, didn't even need that. Okay.
All right. And so eventually Abel kind of finishes his work and you see him just kind of look at it for a second and then he puts it in his pocket. Not really clear what he's been doing, unless you wanted to ask him, but and then you are all you kind of gather your things together and you get the cart back on its way, and you guys all start heading back to Broadfield.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
Continue our
So
journey.
Go ahead.
No, yeah, we're
Okay.
we're good.
All right. And so with the same kind of order going, if I can get Soris to roll a perception check to cover the last little bit of your journey there, and then
Can he have advantage because me and Kaimana are also kind of like up front
sure. Yep.
in that
Roll with
area?
advantage. Yep.
Good, because I'm gonna need that because I rolled a nat 3
I got you. Got you, me.
and a 17 on the second one. So that's much better. And this is
Good.
perception. So that is a 20, not natural.
Good. So as the rest of the early morning kind of hours go by, and as the sun's kind of rising close to its zenith point in the sky, you don't run into any more concerns. That you don't see. There's no other travelers on the road, and eventually you kind of clear a ridge, and down below you, you can see Broadfield kind of splayed out in the valley. Surrounded by its palace, its walls and the new buildings and the construction, and you can now see it a little more clearly than your other approach to the town. It's a small community, but it seems it's in the process of growth, and it's growing. And you come into Broadfield, and you make your way to the Gilded Ass Tavern. And you kind of hitch up outside of the tavern, and so you are now back in Broadfield.
Cool.
Uh,
How heavy is the knoll?
I mean, it's a little bit about probably the same height as you, probably, and from its look, it's probably heavier, but not too much heavier.
So
It's
nothing
not a
I can
big
just
knoll.
throw over my shoulder.
You could make a athletics check and see.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
Athletics. That's a 12.
It's a little bit of a carry, but you are able to kind of fireman's throw it, and you do get the sense as you're kind of holding him that maybe whatever concoction Kaimana gave him is beginning to wear off. He's starting to kind of move, but he's not coming fully awake yet. But you have him there. You wouldn't be able to do much else in your current
it's
predicament.
awkward, but I've got him.
Yep, you got him. And so you guys are there. You're unloading the knoll. Anybody else?
I will go, and I'll actually help Sordis unload the knoll from the, especially if I see it kind of like starting to stir a little bit. I don't want him to get rowdy.
Yeah, so you see Soris kind of dealing with this a little bit, and you're able to help him get a little bit easier grasp of the knoll on his shoulder there. And you're kind of there, and the doors of the tavern are closed. In this light, it's hard to see if there's any lights on the inside or anything like that. But
and what time of day is it again? I'm sorry.
It's probably just afternoon.
Okay.
Because it was like a 2 or 3 hour trip. So
yeah, it's about 2 hours, and then the fight was 40 seconds, so it didn't take too much time. And you guys took a short rest, so yeah.
Kaimana's going to guard the cart.
Okay, so Kaimana, you're hanging around the cart.
I ask Washbjord to announce us.
You want an official announcement or just a quick little swip?
I leave that up to you.
He puts his mask on, and then he looks at half of his coat or torn cloak, and just is like, God. Okay, the ticket takers are here. Trust me, it'll be more spectacular next time, but it has to be perfect. Just know that we are here for your tickets.
For your tickets.
He delivers this out, and there's not a lot of people milling around the mall at this part of the day.
Gonna go hide in the cart.
Laura hides behind the cart. There's a couple people who kind of look over, they kind of give you a little bit of attention, but then keep going about their day. And then a moment later, the door of the tavern does open, and a figure comes out and doesn't really pay much attention to you and keeps going. Soris, you do recognize him from the day before. When you were leaving town, you saw the same figure talking to Roland. and he leaves out, and then Roland a moment later
Is
comes
this-
to the door of the tavern. Oh, go
Is
ahead.
this the one that Roland was kind of avoiding?
He was avoiding him, and then he found when he saw him, Roland ran into the tavern. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so Roland comes to the door of the tavern, and he looks out, and he's focused on that figure. But then the moment he sees you, he goes, friends, the Ticket Takers Club, the TTC, you're back. So does this mean that you were victorious in your excursions to the dark woods near Ipswich?
Thud. Just flop the knoll on the ground in front of him.
He kind of jumps back a little bit, and he looks down, and he's like, what on earth is this? Tell me what has happened.
Waspiord, will you regale him with the tale of our adventure?
At first, oh, clearly he still has his mask on and half cloaked, but at first we left on an adventure to find some things, and now we found some gnolls, and we hit them with the rings, bling bling they're down, and here we are back in the town. And there was some like spiders and bugs, but they weren't really that glorious. Like we got through, but for this, yes, thank you, Mayor.
Like from the cart.
And the mayor
Very
definitely very nice. So I assume that you got the pay.
The gnolls were.
Oh, I come out and give him the letter because that's the thing that I'm supposed to do.
So you hand him the scroll, okay?
Yeah.
He says, "Oh, sorry." And you were saying, my mouse friend.
These gnolls were what were attacking the convoy. There were 3 of them. That doesn't seem to be enough to account for all the supplies they're emitting, so there may be more. But we brought this one back so it could be interrogated, so that it could let you know how many others there were and where they might be located.
Oh, very, very good. We will get the lawmaster, and we'll take him. And I don't know how to interrogate a gnoll, but maybe they do. So we will make sure that is taken care of. And I see that you did get a writ of commendation. Very good. And the pay. You did get paid for this, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, we got paid.
Yes.
Okay, and so he's got the writ in one hand, and his other hand is still out.
Oh.
Well, we're not members of the Adventurers Guild yet.
He kind of says, yes, but it was an Adventurers Guild contract. Yes, right? And you were subcontractors on this contract. So 10%?
I give him 10%.
You give him 10%. So you give him 5 gold.
Yeah.
Okay. So you put 5 gold in his hand, and he looks at it, and then kind of looks at the 5 of you, and okay. Good. Yes. Well, and okay. All right. You are the first ones to return, which means you are not potentially members of the Adventurers Guild anymore. You are, because I haven't seen Tovik or the Slaughterers anywhere, and so hopefully they didn't die. But come
You've
into the
heard no
tavern.
word from him at all?
Come, we have things to discuss. And he kind of waves for you, and then he walks into the tavern, and he kind of yells something. He's like, "Hey, Davis, go get so da la la," and you can't really understand him through the doors of the tavern. And this other little figure, a young, like a teenage boy, runs out, and then he runs down out away from the tavern, and you get the sense of probably he's running off to go get the lawmaster, hopefully. And the gnoll is just left there on the main patio, and then he's just kind of waving for you all to follow him into the tavern.
Abel will
Yeah,
follow
I'll
behind.
Okay. So you all kind of get in there, and so once you get in there, Roland, I mean, he's making this big parade in action.
I make sure
go
that we're not just going to leave the gnoll bound in the street with no one around it. So
So you stay behind.
I drag him in with me.
Okay, so you, you drag the Nolan behind with you. So once you come in, you're the last one in, and you close the door behind you. And the Roland is making this very huge procession kind of movement through the tavern. But then the moment the door closes, I really needed that money. Sorry, the guild really needed that money. Welcome. Now that you're all members, you are the founding members of the Adventurers Guild, and I am your patron. You know, the mayor of Broadfield, who's brought you all together. We don't have the money yet to pay the registration fee. But you did get the Writ of Commendation. We needed 3 of those because I've already
Great.
promised the is coming from Anarvir in 1 week to register the Adventurers Guild, because I sent a letter saying that we were already ready to register and we are not. But you have a Writ of Commendation. That's one of the things down. We need the registration fee and 2 more writs of commendation.
Then we should take the second contract.
You mentioned contracts. I actually, and it kind of goes back behind the tavern kind of bar a little bit, and you've yet to be inside the tavern when there's anybody else there. It's kind of this might just be Roland's office and nobody else is there, and he goes behind the tavern thing and he's rummaging around and he pulls out like a little stack, and he's like, the Dragon's Horde, the Winged Terror. Oh, here it is. Yes, the town of Inniswood also put out a contract, and this one might pay a little bit better. And he kind of puts it out on the table as well. And he says, I recommend that one because it does pay the most, but there are many options for you as you kind of go through if you want to look at any of these contracts that have been put out. And he just kind of leaves them there on the bar for your perusal.
Well, we had originally talked about doing either the second or fourth one, so since we've done the fourth one, we should try the second one.
Before he leaves, I want to ask him, like, Mr. Roland, who is your friend that we ran into when we were coming in? He was leaving, the robed gentleman. Is he the guild?
No, no. He's kind of overseeing construction throughout town for the the construction of the new buildings and the aerodrome specifically.
Can I make an insight check on this motherfucker?
Exactly.
Yes, you may roll an insight check.
All right.
If she get advantage, if I'm like
I
trying
got a
to.
19. I mean,
Yeah,
Oh,
she
no,
doesn't need
never
your
mind. Got it.
He's obviously lying.
cool.
Yeah.
I don't really care, but I just want to know if he was lying.
Okay, so you know he's lying.
Cool. I'm gonna keep that to myself for now.
Okay.
Okay. Well, what contracts do we have, Mr. Sotis?
Yeah.
What do you think we should do?
All right, Soris, and as you're kind of looking at the contracts, there's the 2 that you recognize that were part of the original 4 that were presented. And now that you're looking at it, it's you actually get to see what they are. And the Dragon People one, it looks like they're only offering to pay 25 gold for the eradication, unless you can return stolen items, and then they're offering up to 50 gold. The Winged Terror one, they're offering a really good meal. It looks like it's a local group of farmers who put this together, and they're kind of basically saying, like, we'll cook for you or we'll give you a sheep. So that there's kind of not clear amount of payment on that one. The third one is the new option that's being put forth, and he didn't like dress this one up and give it a cool title or anything, but it looks like the town of Inniswood has had an issue where the river that feeds the mill that kind of comes into the town and is the main source of flour and goods for the town has dried up, and they're looking for somebody to solve the issue of the dried up river. And they're paying 100 gold.
I believe an entire river drying up would affect more people in town than a few farmers dealing with a flying beast or a thieving dragon, no?
It would affect the fish population.
All right.
And we do have someone
There's
here.
nothing the
who-
ticket takers value more than the fish population.
Well, they
Well, we do
rely on
have
that
someone here
water.
who is familiar with water activities, obviously, coming from an island. That may give us an in. I'm
I
referring
say
to
we-
Kamana, of course.
I say we do that.
Does anyone kind of want to figure out what happened to the slaughterers?
Yes, but not yet.
All right.
Yeah.
I can
Roland
wait.
is nearby and can definitely kind of hear you talking. And he says, "Oh well, they haven't returned yet. They actually waited till the next morning before they left. I think that Tavik thought that he was going to do such a good job that he didn't need to leave immediately, so he stayed here that night. They got drunk, and then they left.
So they left this morning.
They left this morning. Yeah. So
Okay.
actually, like, but they were going south to Northwick. So you wouldn't have crossed their path. So
They're fine.
yes, I mean, you all won. So I think that's all that matters.
Just wanted to make sure
Right,
they
so
were
we finished.
in the
We
ditch.
fix this.
somewhere.
Well, we finished this one, and hopefully we get back before they return, and they finally come back, and we've done 2 to their 1.
Sure.
That'll really rub it in. Not that I'm inclined to do things like that.
Of course not.
Couldn't have happened. Couldn't have happened to a
And-
nicer bunch of guys.
Yeah. And Roland does say, if I might add, the Winged Terror, they wouldn't have the authority to write a writ of commendation. It's just, since it's just a band of farmers, you have to have a mayor or a lawmaster to write a writ of commendation. So if you traveled to Inniswood and did the river quest, you could potentially take kind of a long roundabout and hit the other town on your way back and kind of solve their stolen goods, and potentially come home with 2 writs of commendation that way.
That feels like a plan.
Sure.
Sounds like a good plan. Yes.
Since we are adventurers now, and those are adventures, I say we
yes.
have them.
Yes, of course. Yes, right. Official members. And so he kind of goes back behind his thing and he's digging around again. And he just is kind of tossing things up. And what you see are very kind of small, almost shaped like a shield, not a diamond with 4 sides, but five-sided object here, the kind of shaped like a shield. And there's a little kind of a symbol in the middle of like a sunburst, and then like a stylized A in the superimposed on the sunburst. And he says, these are our Adventures Guild's official badges, and there's one for you, and one for you, and one for you, and one for you, and one for you. And so we are now all official members. And you see he puts one out and he plops it onto his jacket, and he pins it in place and like stabs himself a little bit with the pen, but then starts around like good. And so he kind of polishes the wood a little bit, and you can see that his is painted with like this flashy gold paint. Yours is not painted; it's just wood, but it's there. Yeah.
I want to ask him, how much are you? Oh, excuse me. How much are you actually going to throw into the overall cost?
Oh, well. So the town of Broadfield, the town, not me, the town, is the patron of the Adventures Guild. And so the town has agreed to pay a majority of the startup costs. We obviously built this tavern so that the Adventures Guild has a home, and we have kind of advertised and expanded the reach of the message to attract new members, and to get the attention of the Curia Regis, who advised the king. And that's where the guild master himself, he sits on the Curia Regis, and to get their attention to come here. So we've put in a lot of time and money and energy already, and we're only asking for the members of the guild to raise the 75 gold needed to fill out the final forms and things.
So 70 gold now.
Yes. But how did the math? He's kind of thinking for a second, and he realizes like, right, 70 gold, and he puts the 5 gold pieces that you handed him back on the table. Yes, 70 gold.
I want to ask. But can't we just contribute like 30 gold instead?
No, the guildmaster is very strict. You will find that dealing with anything from the capital is just filled with bureaucracy. The capital city loves its bureaucracy. It's miles and miles of red tape, and they have very strict rules, which is why there are so few active guilds. There's the tinkerers guilds and the artisans guilds and the various performance guilds and the miners guilds. There's all of these things, but anytime a new guild tries to come up, this limitation on having to get the respect and authority of 3 different leaders throughout the community, as well as raise what is a substantial sum of money in 70 gold. It kind of prevents people from jumping into it. So they're very strict about their rules. This is what we have. This is what we have to do. But
Then
that's
let
why
us
it's
see
such an
about it.
honor. Yeah. All right. So you can absolutely make it to the town of Ipswich by the end of the day. It's probably about 12 miles. It's a little further than your travels to Inniswood. It's a little further to get there, but you can absolutely make it by the end of the day and see what's happening there if you leave now.
First, I would like to accompany your uh, what is the person who does the illegal people stuff?
The Lawmaster.
The lawmaster. And the lawmasters are basically like sheriffs.
Okay, I would like to
They
accompany your
they're not called
lawmaster.
lawmasters where you're from, but yeah.
Yes, to that's the reason why. Yep, to your prisons to see the no locked up, and I want to keep those shackles if I can. I'm sure you have your own shackles in your prisons, right?
Of course, yes, yes, I'm sure that could be arranged.
And while he's
Perfect.
doing that, the rest of us can grab a quick bite, and then we will be on our way, even if it means we get there slightly after dusk.
Right. Yes, a bite. And he kind of looks behind him, and the chef hasn't been hired yet. But I can run and get my wife. She's probably preparing lunch. Perhaps she can prepare enough for all of us. It would just be small, but would that be all right with you?
I put 2 gold in front of him.
Oh yes, okay. And so he runs out the and he heads out, and kind of almost like the swinging doors of a farce. The mayor leaves, and as the door swings back open, in walks kind of a broad, a pouch, a little paunchy stomach, human male, and he says, "So I heard that you've got something," and he looks down. Eh, that's it, right? I'm the lawmaster, uh, Danon. I can take this off your hands. Is that what you need?
Yes, Dana. Do you mind if I accompany you while you lock up the prisoner?
Oh, absolutely. The more hands, I probably can't carry it myself anyway. So he kind of bends down to kind of lift the knoll up, and you can see that the knoll is his eyes are kind of fluttering. He's starting to wake up, but he's still very groggy in his movements. And you kind of help him carry the knoll out, and he kind of leads you. The watchman's outpost is kind of 3 doors down from the tavern. So the Gilded Ass, the town hall, and then kind of next door to it is the watchman's outpost. So he takes you that way, and
I wanna lean over to Wash and say, "Will you wrap me up some food to go?"
Oh, I got you. Yes.
okay.
Thank
And
you.
so you help the lawmaster carry the knoll out, and through the street, and you're definitely getting some looks from various different people as you're carrying this knoll, and then you get into the outpost, which is a very small building in comparison. Like, you've got the Gilded Ass Tavern, which is this beautiful construction. You've got Town Hall, which is also new and beautiful, and then next to it is just this kind of wooden, like, Andy Griffith, jailhouse, like one room with like one jail cell, and he gets you in there. He locks it in. He puts the knoll in. You guys don't have the key to unlock the
Oh,
manacles.
I have the key. Oh no.
And so he does turn he does turn to you and says, did they give you a key to to undock these shackles in Ipswich?"
I believe one of my teammates may have it.
Oh, well,
I'm just
that would be
looking
helpful.
around the tavern. I'm just trying to figure out how expensive this thing is.
Roll an investigation check there.
All right.
And so yeah, so you know that Mar got the key, Abel. Yeah.
And can she have
No,
advantage for my bar
no,
knowledge?
I don't need it. I'm rolling really well on dumb shit. I got a 24.
Oh, shit.
Okay. So you're looking around at the interior of this tavern, Mar, and
Yeah.
like you've been in some pretty fancy places,
Mhm.
and you've lived in some, or you've seen some pretty fancy homes and things, and this is pretty high scale. The wood, I mean, it looks like imported wood from the best like places in area. The stonework is this beautiful marble construction. There's like filigree and like carvings out in certain places, and the posts are all really well constructed. And there's crown molding, and like you're like, oh, this was not a cheap place to build at all.
Okay.
Hmm.
Cool.
While is with Desmond, the sheriff or whatever you, I want to kind of question him about Roland the mayor, like if the town is in any kind of financial straits, or general opinion of the mayor.
Okay, and so the you
And a friendly, kind of, I'm just,
yeah.
outside. I'm kidding about your town. What is, the opinion of your current mayor?
Oh, well, Roland's kind of new. He's maybe been here a year.
Hmm.
Um, but more people are probably aware of Broadfield now than ever before. We were a very sleepy community before his arrival. Kind of. We don't have a lot of industry of our own. We're kind of a central hub for several farming villages and mill towns and mining communities. They kind of all join here to trade and to do whatever they need before we connect onto the capital city or to other larger places. And so for him to bring this kind of attention to our town is pretty nice. I don't know where the money comes from. I handle the lawmasters, the watchmen. We're a separate entity. I don't answer to the mayor. The mayor doesn't answer to me. I actually work for the crown, and my job is just to make sure that the law is being enforced in this community. And I haven't noticed anything that was out of sorts by any stretch.
You said you do not know where the money is coming from to revitalize the town. Is that
Oh no.
called concern?
Oh, no, I mean, I would assume that the mayor has resources available to him. Like I said, Broadfield it's a trading community, so I'm sure they take a cut of some of those trades that occur. But that's outside of, unless you have evidence that there's been some kind of shady deals.
No. That is not what I'm saying. I am just, as a foreigner, I curious about your customs and how you manage your towns. Well, I am from when we will have a lot of female leaders. It is considered a good omen when a woman comes to power in my island. So it's just odd to see a man given so much free reign with no checks and balances. Is all.
He kind of closes his eyes a little bit. He says, "Well, I'm sure there's checks and balances, but you said well, I mean," he's kind of thinking like, there's not anything else. Like, where are you from? Like, this is Illyria, is it, right?"
I am from the island nation of Nuevia. Uh, our homeland was overrun when from the Vale uh, several generations ago. We've been off the coast of Nuevia for almost 200 years. Off the coast of
Oh,
Illyria.
right, yeah. Of course, yes. Of course, I remember that. Yes, I did. Yes, I just have never met anybody from somewhere else. So I completely, I forgot, but I remember now. So you're good. Yes. But no, in Illyria, no, the watchmen we are the arm of the crown, and so we enforce the laws. But each community that we work in, kind of, they have their own independence, as it were.
It is an interesting political structure. Okay, I do not want to bother you. Perhaps I will swing back by with the key to these shackles.
Ah,
and,
dang it! I forgot to give him the key. Ah,
Admiring the fine architecture of the tavern. Shit. Okay.
I'm
Right.
gonna try
Yeah,
to figure out if
anytime.
I
I mean,
know what it is.
yeah, and the lawmaster is like, anytime, he's locked up. I mean, he's in prison. I don't care to make him too comfortable, so if you can get the key, that'd be great. Yeah.
If you can, great. If not,
If not,
Let him die.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Lord Abel will, just kind of saunter off, and I'll take my time coming back to the tavern, maybe like walk around the long way, just kind of seeing if I see anything interesting. Maybe I'll run into our little robed friend that was leaving the tavern when we came up.
Okay. So you're gonna kind of circle around. So you leave the main portion of the town by leaving the mall, but there are some roads that kind of circle around, and you start getting to a little bit more residential areas. And all of the buildings in Broadfield are very basic construction, log homes. And the further you move away from the mall, the more clear that is. And you kind of circle around, and you're kind of keeping your eye open. So go ahead and roll a perception check as you're making your way through.
Wait. It's D&D. Perception?
Uh-huh.
Oh, no, I'm not doing it. It's a 4. 2 plus
4.
2.
So you are aware that there are houses and that there's a road, and you're making your way through. You cross
We don't have
you
roads
cross
in Nuevia.
paths with you have no roads. You don't need roads. You cross paths with various townspeople who they kind of all are giving you. You do pick up on the fact that you're getting strange looks from the townspeople. They're not aggressive by any means, but you're definitely not something that they're used to seeing in this town. And as you're kind of walking through, but you don't see anybody dressed in black. You don't see anybody wearing a cloak that has their hood up and hiding their identity in any kind of way. And then you kind of finish your saunter around, and you kind of connect back through to one of the roads, and then come back into the mall area. But you did not spot the shadowy figure that Roland was dealing with.
Okay, Abel will head back to his companions in the tavern.
Okay, so as Abel was making that roundabout for everybody else, eventually Roland returns with Joss in tow, his half-elven wife. And she's got a plate in front of her, and it looks like there's some sandwiches there, and they all look very neatly cut triangular square sandwiches, look like cucumber sandwiches.
Interesting.
And she kind of sets them down on a table. She says, "Oh, Roland came and said that you all needed some food. So I was so happy to make it for the Adventurers Guild. This is a wonderful day. So these are my absolute favorite thing. They are cucumber sandwiches. Please."
I take one. I eat it.
Okay.
Yeah, Kaimana will definitely eat.
She watches you very carefully take the sandwich and eat it. She's just looking at you very expectantly as you're eating the sandwich. And as Kaimana has probably eaten like 3 or 4. And she's just kind of looking at you. And then finally she's like, "How are they?"
I rolled a nat 20 to eat my sandwich like a civilized individual.
Very nice, Kaimana. You can learn.
I like Kamana's self-imposed roles.
I have never had a cucumber sandwich its equal.
Oh my God, that's so great to hear. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But I know you all have great very busy days ahead of you, founding this Adventures Guild. So I need to get back to the general store anyway. So, and she kind of gives Roland a kiss on the cheek, and she heads out the door.
Roland, I have another thing to discuss with you.
Oh, of course, yes, yes.
As mayor, the three individuals who were killed, taking the last 3 deliveries to Ipswich.
Yes.
Do they have family?
Yes, yes. 2 of them do. The third, he might. He was from out of town, but he'd been here for a month or so.
I put the bag of all the money I took from the Knolls. It's like, it's not much, but it's for them. It's what we took off the people who attacked. So,
Right, so he kind of takes the bag and he's looking at it. And it's like 25 gold, I think, right?
16 gold, 26 silver, and 13 copper.
There you go. Yeah. So he looks at it and he's like, "Oh, very generous, very generous of you, of course. Yes, good.
We'll
I'll
want
make
to
sure
make sure that they're doing well.
Yes. Right. When you get back from Inniswood, I can arrange a meeting if you'd like to meet their families, I suppose.
That would be nice.
Good. Okay, good. So he sets the pouch aside and says, I'll make sure that's arranged. Absolutely.
Alrighty, there's my pencil. Cross off the list. I have more cucumber sandwiches. We'll make sure to save some for Abel.
Yeah, and she probably made like 10 or 15 small little sandwiches. So you can absolutely save some for Abel if Kaimana hasn't eaten all of them yet. So.
Oh, I've got my whole bag of hash still from the morning.
He's still got pocket meat.
Snacks for the road.
It's all just like a brown glop from the travel by this point.
And around about that time, Abel does come into the doors of the tavern and has returned from his roundabout walk.
I want to give him the. Oh, I'm just gonna give him his cucumber sandwiches and give mine and tell him to give it to the Knoll. I'm sure he must be hungry.
I'll take the sandwiches and I'll look and I'll open it. And there is no meat in here. What is this? Okay.
I know.
And I'll put
it is a cucumber sandwich.
Uh-huh.
It's typically eaten by people who can afford to eat whatever they want, and so they have nothing instead.
It's rich people food.
The customs are very different here. I'll put them like in my bag. I think do I have a bag of holding? I think that's one of my infusions I can make as an artificer.
You do. Yep.
Oh yeah, I do.
That's awesome.
I'll put them in my bag of holding.
Amazing.
So you guys watch as he takes this kind of wrapped sandwich, opens his bag, and he drops it in. You don't see anything else in the bag, and and then he closes the bag. Like it's like he just put it into an empty bag, but there's nothing else in there.
Okay.
Neat trick.
Right.
Do I know what that is?
We will make sure that our doctrine is fair.
Roll a history check.
Oh boy.
Stindy.
17.
That's the wrong. You can't see that. 17. Yeah, you've seen you seem to remember that like the chief in your town had a pouch that he would take fishing with him, and he could put fish in the pouch, and it didn't matter how many fish he caught; they just went into the pouch, and the pouch didn't get bigger. And you were like, where did all the fish go? And then when he got back to town, he would turn the pouch inside out, and suddenly 20 fish would fly out of this little pouch that he kept on his side. And so you're like, that kind of reminds you of that.
You're wondering if there's fish in there, isn't there?
Yes, of course. Fish in the bag of holding.
I know how
That's
Atwood
a
thinks.
possibility.
He's so cute.
Definitely how Kaimana thinks too, for sure.
So,
Just
well, I
keep
guess.
keep a solid
Sorry,
hand.
go ahead.
Keep a solid hand on that bag, man. Just hold that thing gonna go walking.
Keep it very close
Uh,
to me.
While we're stopped, I clean and reload the flintlock.
Okay.
And I'm keeping track of
Wow.
my ammo. since
While
it's a
he's
limited
doing that,
supply.
Abel will absolutely inquire as to what is that contraption? How does it work?
It throws. It's a mechanical stone thrower.
Does it work from magic or simply?
It is from science. A artificer who owed me for something gifted it to me. There are not very many of these around.
It's very interesting, and I'll just kind of keep a very close watch while he's cleaning it and, maintaining his weapon.
Kaimon is
Roll
torn
just
between.
a general intelligence check to see how close you're able to keep up with that.
My bag goes missing. His gun goes missing.
Although after the explosion, Kimana may not be so sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put the gun in the bag.
Roll a general intelligence check, Abel.
Oh, me. Pretty intelligent guy. Where's my intelligence? As he proclaims how intelligent he is. Can't find
one
my
down.
21.
21. Okay, so as you're watching Saurus kind of take apart parts and remove components and dust and clean things, you start to notice kind of patterns in like the construction of the device and how it's pieced together, and you can see like the leftover bits of a fuse, and that when this lever closes, that fuse would touch a pan where he's clearing off the dust of what you do recognize as black powder. And you're kind of getting a sense of how this device works very clearly.
So I'll pay very close attention to his weapon.
Okay. Good.
That would be very interesting.
Anybody else?
I'm just learning nothing about either the bag of holding or the flintlock because my attention's so torn between one and the other.
Perfect.
I'm just going around the bar, like tapping the surfaces.
Actually, I'm considering in my head if I bled on a gun, would it shoot lightning? And now I'm thinking about.
Oh God, so
We
am I
all
now.
have
Oh my God. Yeah.
Although
love
it's funny
all of it.
because I don't have proficiency in the weapon, so
Yeah.
I get my dex bonus, but not my proficiency bonus because it's new to me too. So
Yep. Wash, as you're beating, you do like on the corner of the, kind of the main bar area, you get to a place where when you hit it, has a really beautiful resonance to it. Like you're like, this part sounds the best of any of the parts that you've tapped or hit in this tavern.
he's gonna play the bar, isn't he?
You already know.
Ben, yeah.
All right, and as you all kind of gather yourselves together and kind of wrap up your things and prepare yourself for the second journey in as many days, we'll go ahead and take a quick 10-minute break.
Thank you, Ten.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
Welcome back from the break. So we're all gathering there, kind of, I guess, leaving the tavern and kind of gathering yourselves together for the trip to Inniswood. And on the contract that you picked up, Saurus, there is kind of a map guideline, so you know where to head or where to go.
Sounds
And
good.
which town was this again, sir?
This is Inniswood, and the map is really poorly drawn. It looks like it might have been drawn by Roland, and he and all you can kind of tell from it is that Broadfield is central in the map, and directly to the kind of the south and the east, there is a major road that travels that way. Inniswood is there, and it's right on the edge of what Roland has marked. It's kind of like drawn like almost like a cloud, but he's drawn it and it's marked as Deepwood. So it's right on the edge of the Deepwood.
I imagine this is on like the back of a Golden Ass Tavern branded napkin.
Yeah, the contract is it's like this. It's
The donkey like has a little
yeah.
shimmer on it.
Oh, please, somebody. I need the Gilded Ass Tavern logo. Like I need it now. So,
No.
so you do have those guides, and so and Deepwood, of course, rings a bell for you, Mar, as you're kind of looking over Soris's shoulder at that. But so you're going to be traveling very near it, because Inniswood, based on its name, used to be in the wood, but over time, as they've kind of cut down some trees and established a larger community there, it's now just right on the edge.
There's a communal golf course called Bushwood.
Lord. Okay. When do you all want to get on the road to start our journey?
I mean, I think if we
I
leave
think
now,
now
I can
would be a
probably
good
make
time.
it by nightfall. So
Sounds like a plan. Is this considered like a short rest? Or,
You guys were eating for, kind of sitting around and eating for about an hour. So yeah, it'd be a short rest.
Okay. You get spell slots back on a short rest? I just
No.
spent one.
Only if you have arcane recovery.
Okay.
It's only
no,
mages.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
druids have that ability later on.
Yeah, just asking for a friend,
yeah.
All right. Now you don't have access to a cart or a mare, so you're going to be on foot, unless you want to check to see.
Yes. Someone should call Roland and see if he can get us another cart. I do
I
not
have
want
no
to
problem walking.
I can
Okay.
walk just fine.
Yeah.
walk.
You guys can travel probably about as fast on foot as you were able to with the mare and the cart.
Okay, then
Yeah.
well, we should get on the
And-
road then.
An army on the march can do 20 miles a day, so 12 miles is doable. We'd have to set a decent pace, and we'll get there a little after dark, but
Yeah,
we
you'll
can
be
make
fine.
it.
We could
Okay.
camp in the woods. We could camp on the road.
You could, yeah. If
Well, I
you
wouldn't
wanted
camp
to.
on the road. You might get run over by something when you weren't expecting it.
Okay,
Alright.
so let's start our journey.
On our way out of town, gotta stop by the lawmaster real quick and just give him that key.
Okay, Are you gonna ask Abel where it is, or are you just gonna try to find it on your own?
No, I mean, like, I assume, like, as we're like navigating our way, like, out of town, I would just kind of like get able to point me where it is on
Okay.
our way.
I'll say
Okay.
like when you go inside to give him the key, will you bring the shackles back? I think they may be useful.
The shackles? Yeah,
Yes.
can do that.
Okay. And so as you walk into the lawmaster's office, the lawmaster, he's just kind of sitting there with his feet propped up, like eating a very large sandwich. And he kind of, like, the moment the door opens, he kind of sits up and like sets the sandwich down, and he's just got like mustard all over his face. He's just like, yeah.
No need to
can I-
get too
can I-
excited. I have the key for the Knowles shackles.
Oh.
just if you wanted
Good.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he woke up and he points, and you can kind of see that the knoll is like sitting. There's like a little cot in the jail cell, and he's sitting there, and he's kind of just like awake but really drowsy, and he's still shackled in. But yeah, I can. I mean, I guess we could try to get in there and
I mean, I can do
Whatever.
it. It's,
Okay.
don't bother
Yeah.
getting up. You
So he-
seem occupied. I'll just get in there and try to take the shackles off him real quick.
Okay, so so he unlocks the jail cell for you, and
Mm-hmm.
you open it up, and the Knoll kind of leans back and is aware of your presence, but he's really lethargic in his movements and doesn't put any, like, when he sees what you're trying to do, he does just hold out his hands
Okay.
for you to undo it.
Cool. So I'll just grab the shackles and be like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take these. That's
You just hear
That's
like a
fine.
faint whimper from the Knoll as you're leaving the cell.
I am a little pat on the head, and then I leave.
Right, and the lawmaster goes back to eating his sandwich and just kind of nods at you as you head out.
Cool. Yeah.
All right.
I'll go find the group. Catch up.
Good. So you guys are leaving town. This is a different exit from the town that you took before. So earlier you were traveling kind of east. So you kind of go through the main thoroughfare to the south of town, and then you follow this. And this is a much more traveled road. So the chances of running into any dangers or problems on it are pretty slim. But just in case, what's our marching order here? Who's at the front?
I can be at the front.
I'll take it again.
All right, so Mar and Soris up at the front, and I just need one of you or both of you to roll a perception check, and if one of you do it, you can do it with advantage.
You can roll that, Mar.
Okay. What's my bonus for? God, the second one was a nat one. So 21.
21. Okay. So this road, you do, you're traveling through the broad of day, so you have pretty good vision of everything, and it's easier to see kind of where you're heading, and off in the very, very far distance against the horizon, you feel like there's this smudge that over the course of the afternoon gets bigger and closer and bigger, and eventually you notice like that massive, huge smudge on the horizon is the deepwood forest. And you're getting closer and closer to it, and it's starting to fill the whole horizon and just take up, it's this massive forest, larger than any forest any of you have ever seen, except for those who have seen the deepwood forest. And you're approaching it, and you don't pass any other travelers on the road for a while, but eventually, Mara, you do see kind of off in the distance, moving towards you, a band of what look like 7 or 8 travelers. And as you're getting closer to them, you notice that it's a group of orcs, and they're all wearing the same uniform, and they're kind of marching in your direction.
Any sort of recognition on the uniform, what that might be?
Roll a history check.
12.
12. Okay, yeah. You have seen them, people wearing uniforms like this similar in the past. It's been a while, but occasionally, like one of their members would have come to your training area just to kind of get to hire some work or to get some additional help from the order.
Okay.
These are members of the Radiant Legion, which is the military of Illyria.
Okay. I'm just gonna quickly point that out to Soris, just very gently, just so we're on the same page about what's coming up here.
Anything we need to be concerned about?
I don't think so. Just,
All right, and as you're kind of moving, do you guys give them the road, or do you kind of play chicken with them?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think we'll give them the road.
So you guide everybody kind of off to the side, and as they get closer, it's what you thought was maybe 7 or 8 people is actually more like 10 or 12. Just they're marching in such a formation that it kind of hid their total numbers. But at the front of them is this very ornately dressed for a soldier, orcish female with like half of her head shaved, and she's kind of got like a floppy top, kind of spiky kind of hair design that's tipped with red, and she's got a scar on her right eye, and she kind of sees you and she nods in your direction. She notices Mar for a second, and like you have the identifying marker Mar visible.
I mean, I think I do, right? I think I would,
Yeah.
right?
So
yeah.
she kind of is walking by and she kind of sees the symbol of the order present on you, and she kind of gives you a nod and she looks in your direction. She's like,
Oh,
the
shit,
order, right?
I don't like not them. What? No.
The order, right?
Yeah. Hi. Hello.
How long have you been with them?
Oh God, couple of years. I recently initiated, but you know, yeah.
I thought maybe a time would have crossed. I was in Romulus 3 years ago. I was doing kind of a training there to try to get some of the woodland training so that we could pass it on to the Radiant Legion.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess we didn't cross paths, but it's funny to see you guys
Understood.
so far from traveling with
Yeah.
companions. Yeah.
Oh well, yeah, they're not. But it's you know, the first, you know, mission, big deal.
Oh,
Mhm.
lone wolf, right? Lone wolf. That's what they say, right?
Yeah, that's what they call it.
yeah. Well, I got to march this lot up to Mount Adronis. They're all going in for training, but nice to see the order out and about. I was worried their
Yeah.
numbers had dwindled.
No, still doing as strong as ever.
Good.
Do I have to roll for deception for that? Because that's a blatant lie.
Yes, please roll deception.
We had like 2 people in there. Okay. It's an 18. I rolled a 19.
As good as I rolled, I was like, oh, she's gonna pick it up. No, like as you're kind of telling her this, she's a really keen woman, and she hears something and she looks back and she's like, "Oi, get back in formation. You are completely out of step." And she turns back and she's like, "Oh, well, it's good to hear that the order's doing good. If you get it up to Mount Adronis, you know, bend me an ear. You can come find me. I'm Field Marshal Alana, and you can find me in Mount Adronis."
Yeah. Nice to meet you, Marlo.
Hello, nice to meet you. And she kind of jogs off and she nods at everybody else, but she seeing civilians not such an interesting thing, and she kind of charges back up and gets ahead of her line and keeps marching her recruits, her new trainees off to the north.
What was her name again?
Alana.
Field Marshal Alana.
Alana. Thank you.
Alana. Mhm.
I guess after that exchange, Abel will probably trot up next to Mar and ask her, like, what order do you belong to?
Oh, it's an order of I mean, you know, the blood thing that I do, the sword and then
Yes.
it glows. Yeah, it's that. We actually we work right in there, and I point at the deep wood.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Obviously, you are well respected in your order to gain.
No, well, this is it's kind of first, you know, solo mission. I just got you know, my full badge and all that. So
Can I
Are you
roll
allowed to
insight?
belong to? Are you allowed to belong to another guild if you're already in a member
yes,
of?
actively encouraged actually to come here. Was actually kind of ordered to come here. So yeah.
Mm,
Can I roll
I'm
insight, Josh?
Yeah.
That is a dirty 20.
What do I have to roll against?
You're not.
I don't think
being
I'm not
dishonest.
lying. Yeah.
Okay.
You get the sense that what she's saying is very truthful. Yeah.
Okay.
What she's not saying is she's not saying.
Right.
Yeah. Nothing that she said rings a deceptive bell to you. Yeah.
It's all just so new to Kaimai. Like people living in the
Everything.
forest. Like,
Okay, I guess we continue our journey.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, none of you would know. The order wouldn't ring a bell for any of you. So,
I'll pull out
Alright,
my
so you
piccolo and
continue
play
on
as we walk. Give us a
all
little
right, go
walking
ahead.
music.
Yeah, that sounds good. And
I just kind
so
of adjust
so
my
Source
badge.
got it going.
I'm gonna
You did
slide
what?
over.
I just adjust my badge and kind of like pull at my like scarf that I have around my neck
Okay,
as we walk.
sounds good. So
I'll
it's a
play
little
my
bit more hidden.
bongos
Yeah.
next to Source.
All right, and so you guys get a
That's
little bit of
6,
marching music
7,
going.
10.
10 performance. What's your go ahead and roll a performance check there, Wash.
Wow, a 9. That's
9.
good.
So
Wow.
He's not
this
feeling
is
it today. God.
it's kind of like that episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender where like the hippie guys are
Secret
the
tunnel.
secret tunnel episode. It's kind of that, like it's a little bit offbeat. It's a little bit whatever, but y'all are having fun, and that's all that matters. So,
Well,
uh,
I figure also that Wash is a little concerned because his cloak is still torn.
Yes, that's
He can't really get
distracting his performance ability.
because he's not fully dressed for the part.
You know what, I'm writing a
you
to-do
guys might
list
need
for
to go
this
repair
group,
that
and we have to get it repaired first thing.
first thing. All right, and so the rest of your travel over the course of the afternoon into the evening, and just as the sun is setting in the horizon, it goes without a hitch. There's no issues or concerns. This is the main thoroughfare, and so it's well traveled, and so things don't tend to mess with it. And just off over in the horizon, a little bit of a distance, you can see at the edge of this massive forest that now fills most of your view. You see the lights of a town kind of rising up as the sun is beginning to set, and you
Okay.
guys make your way into the town of Inniswood.
And it says right at dusk.
Yeah, kind of right at the edge of dusk. Like the sun has gone down, but there's still that kind of light reflecting into the sky, and it's beautiful Illyrian sunset. But you're right on the edge of dusk, and as you come into the town, immediately like Saurus and Kaimana, your hackles kind of go up a little bit. Mar, you feel it too, and that familiar feeling of something old and not excited about your presence is nearby, and it's almost like the forest right at the edge of this town is trying to keep you away from it. It's just this feeling of negativity, and this town that's built right next to it has this kind of haunted feel. Like the moment you step inside, it's like almost like your feet don't make quite as much sound as they tread on the paved stones, and when you hear the distant sounds of a dog barking, like it sounds muffled, like it's moving through foggy air, but the air's clear. This is not a super welcoming town, and you do notice as you're coming in. Yeah, sure. 100%. As you're coming
my
into
God.
as you're coming into Inniswood, it's a smaller town than Broadfield, but the palisade that rings it is twice as thick, and it's like a double layer of palisade. And as you're kind of seeing at the back end of the town, that palisade is taller and more strong against the forest. Whatever they're building to keep out or to protect from, they don't expect it to come the way that you came. They expect for it to come from that direction. And this is kind of the first time you catch a glimpse as you're coming around the bend towards and entering into the town. The main river comes out of the deep wood and trickles alongside the town, and there's a mill built next to it, but the river is currently dry. There's just a very thin kind of stream running through the center of what was probably otherwise maybe 100 yards wide of a river.
Wow.
Mhm.
Hey, Ma,
That's going to be a really big beaver.
Yes.
you feel like this town giving you the stink eye?
Yeah. Yeah, I do feel like that a little bit. Want to go investigate, I guess?
I figure we must.
All right.
Or we
And,
can get a
oh, go ahead,
Let's
Source.
get a room first.
yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I
So you guys,
say we
you head in.
investigate tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, find an
All right.
inn,
You all head
find a
in,
tavern.
and right as you're kind of coming into town, there's kind of a couple shops there on the main thoroughfare, and there, you see a general store that looks like it's been maybe closed for the evening, and then a couple doors down from that is a tavern, and it doesn't have kind of like the typical wooden clapboard out front. It just has painted kind of over the entrance. It says the Bended Bow. And there's a light coming from the inside, and so you assume this is the tavern, so you can go in there.
Formerly the Bronze Butt.
Bended.
The Bended Bow. As you enter in, this Bough, yeah. As you enter in, it's dead inside. There's no townspeople in there. There's kind of there's a half orc female leaning against the bar, kind of doodling in a journal, looks like, and behind her you can see the kind of the window going into the back kitchen area, and there's through that window you can see a tabaxi male, calico in color, and he's just kind of standing in the kitchen over the kind of the cauldron area and the place where he kind of grills back there, but there's no people in here other than these two that you see.
There's got to be so much dandruff in that food, huh? That's
Dander.
He just gets in a big net.
He's wearing a full body hairnet.
Oh no.
It's like a body form nylon stocking. Just
The opposite of a
He's just wearing
furry.
a full hazmat suit. Yeah.
He's wearing a
No,
human suit.
he's not wearing any protective garb at all.
people clothes.
Yep.
I go to the.
As you enter, she looks up, but she does not speak to you. Yeah. And then, Source,
No
go ahead.
wonder they have no custom.
I go up to her and inquire about rooms to let.
Yeah, we've got rooms. I don't know. Cloudy, how much were the rooms again? And like she doesn't raise her voice to call out. She doesn't do anything. She's kind of Cloudy, and the tabaxi approaches the window and he's like, "Well, I think he said that they were like 2 silver." And he just turns around and walks away. And the barmaid's like, "Yeah, yeah, okay. Like, there's nobody staying here tonight, so you can have as many rooms. Like, we've got 4, and they're 2 silver each."
I plop down 2 silver on the bar.
I'll throw
And she
two
slaps
over.
the key to you.
Mhm.
Okay, so you guys buy 4 rooms. So there's that kind of thing. She's like, and we're not like we don't like Cloudy. Are we serving dinner tonight? And Cloudy is like scratching his chin as he walks up. He's like, I mean, we didn't have any guests, so I didn't like prepare anything, but I could put something together. And he's like looking expectantly.
Yes,
Abel
please.
is very concerned with the sanitation rating of this place. I do not know. I have cucumber sandwiches in my bag.
I mean,
I'm a rat. I'll take whatever he cooks.
oh, he finally. It's almost like Cloudy sees you for the first time, and it's like, "Hey there, fella. You're different, but like me, kind of, I guess. What would you like? I've got some food I can bake for you.
That'd be great.
You name it. Okay,
Whatever.
it'll be a surprise then.
Chef's choice.
It'll be a surprise to both of us."
I hope
And he
you
just
like 20 boxes of hardtack.
He turns. and you start. I mean, you hear the sound of pots and the sound of things, and there's suddenly like a burst of flame from the back, and you can like feel the heat coming through the window, and you're not quite sure what he's doing. But Cloudy is preparing you a meal of some kind. So
I'd like.
I'm thinking of Kronk.
yeah, he can totally be Kronk, 100%.
That's so bad.
I'd like to watch him cook. Like the Kaimana's got that curious vibe about him.
Okay.
I can see
So
Kamana standing on a stool
kinda,
and just.
No.
yeah, you'd have to stand up on a stool or climb on the bar itself to kind of look through the window.
I want to hold him up.
You
Yeah.
so like Thora, the barmaid who's like she's sketching in the sketch pad. She like looks up and like finally she realizes that there's a dragonborn and like carrying an otter like right next to her looking through the thing, and she looks at you and she just scoots her stool over a foot and goes right back to drawing. She's not paying too much mind to it.
Simba.
And so Kaimata, as you kind of clear the ledge and you're looking into the kitchen now, you see like this what was kind of a really slow moving kind of tired acting to Baxi has gone into high gear, and like he's like tossing things, and there's you know skillets are hitting the top of the cooktop, and he's flipping his spatulas, and he's dicing things up and throwing them in, and he's moving so quickly as he's doing this, and he steps back for a second, and you catch sight of what looks like a very beautiful, like almost like a stir fry type thing, and he's chopping a couple peppers and putting them in there, and dashing in different seasonings and spices, and as laid back as he looked, he seems to be pretty well versed in the kitchen.
Hmm.
Nice.
This guy
And
knows
after a moment,
Worth a few hairs in your food. That's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, and after a
I'm
moment,
glad he has a passion that he's following in his life.
after a moment, you're still watching him. He kind of picks up the skillet and plates it onto this kind of bowl, and there's this beautiful, kind of sauce around this fry of different vegetables and like a sausage that he diced up into it, and it's almost like the moment the food hits the plate, he slows back down. He picks it up, carries it over. All right, order up, and he sets it like into the window, and Thora like looks at it and she's like, "Well, you're standing there anyway. There's your food, I guess." And so you have access to your food there, Saurus.
So I get it.
I'm
And
gonna
I
drop
eat
a silver for the show.
Okay, like in the window, you like toss it, and like
Yeah.
Cloudy, like as you kind of toss it into the window, like Cloudy, like that almost with that speed, he snatches it out of the air, and he's like, "Thank you, little guy. Thanks." And he just kind of goes back to his own thing. When you taste it, Saurus, it's delicious. It's absolutely amazing. And even though it's not a lot of the good sausage, but whatever he did to the peppers and onions and like there's leeks and like all kinds of different things. It's almost like whatever he had back there, he included in this. He managed to make all the flavors meld really beautifully together.
I've known some Stooners who are great cooks.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Hey,
But you all now have your keys and you're ready to go. Abel?
before I go up, I want to ask: is it Thora, the barmaid?
She never gave you your name. I accidentally kept saying it because I was looking at it on my page.
Okay, well, I'll introduce
barmaid,
myself. See if I can get her to look up from her page, and I'll ask her about the town itself. Like we heard there were issues with the river drying up, and we wanted to see if we could come to help. Do you know anything about this, or could you point us in a direction? Maybe in the morning we could speak to someone who could give us advice on how to best help the town.
After a moment, she kind of finishes with she's the doodle, and as you're talking, she's like, yeah, like people seem really concerned about the river.
But you are
I don't
not.
care. Well, I mean, it doesn't affect my work at the tavern. Like, I don't use the river, so but everyone else seems really worried about it. I don't know. I would talk to the mayor in the morning.
How much of this do
I'll
I
know that
hear?
you're nearby. You hear most of it.
All right, when I hear it's like I don't care much about the river, like Kaimana is like aghast.
Yeah. And she says you can talk to the mayor, or you can the lawmaster maybe that one's better. The mayor doesn't really do anything. You could talk to either of them.
Where would we find
Skulk up to my room.
the lawmaster tomorrow morning? No.
Well, the watchman's outpost is like, and she kind of gestures towards the door, and she's like, it's across the street. Her name's Muriel. You can find Muriel there.
Okay. Well, Miss Thora, you have been no help at all. Thank you so much.
I mean, I told you like who to talk to, but whatever. Okay. And she like goes back to sketching in her sketchbook.
And then I'll turn back to my team and just, do you think we all should get some rest, or what should I plan for the rest of the night to be?
I mean, you just watch
I vote
Kaimana
rest
walk
and
up the
start
stairs
early.
in a huff.
Yeah, Kaimana's gone. You turn around and like Kaimana on.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kaimana seems done for the day, so I think we should just maybe reconvene in the morning.
Start
Okay,
fresh.
I'll take my key. Yep. I guess I'll just take my key and head upstairs for the night.
Okay.
I
There's
assume,
4 rooms.
I assume
Did we
Source
each-
and I are rooming together again.
Yeah, that would. I mean, there would need to be a pairing up, so that would make sense if you wanted to do that.
Mhm.
Okay. I get who I'll pair it with Wash if that's. I think we did that last
No,
time.
you can have your own room.
Yeah, you guys got
Oh,
4
do I have
rooms.
Oh, we did. Okay, sorry.
I'm not sharing. So,
Sure.
sorry.
We've already
That's
picked that up on about you, so
Yeah, I'm fine. If I had to, I would, but I don't have to, so I won't.
There you go. All right, so y'all make your way up, and Wash and Abel and Mar, you find yourselves to your own rooms. They're not at all fancy. It's a bed, there's a table, but the bed seems comfortable enough and hopefully free of any kind of parasites. And Saurus, you get to your room and find Kaimana outside the room because you had the key.
Just like
he's
sitting in front of it.
just skulking there, but you're there with Kaimana.
right. And I will let Kaimana take the bed again, and I'll take the floor again.
All right. So
While,
after, go ahead, Abel.
While Abel is in his room, I will cast my ritual spell Alarm, and I'll take like it's a tiny bell and a fine silver wire, and I'll cast it around like the corners, follow the perimeter of the room just to make sure no one tries to rob me in the middle of the night in this seedy little backwoods.
All right.
That's
I
the
mean, I
kind
didn't
of,
Anybody,
Right, but
that's the kind of foresight Kaimana completely lacks.
anybody else doing anything before you hit to go to sleep?
Yeah, Ford's gonna take his bed sheet and he's gonna make a little.
Wash, For's your character from our other
Oh my
campaign.
goodness!
Beth.
Sorry.
I was like, he has a name.
I thought he said Bjord, but I thought he said Bjord like in a weird way.
I know. I thought I heard
Watchful
Bjorn too.
Bjorn. He takes his bed sheet and makes his it's like an impromptu cloak,
Okay.
and he just kind of he rips it open and puts it on, and he puts his mask back on, and he's like, "You did good magic today. You did good magic today, Watch." And then he goes to bed.
It's
Okay.
Self-affirmation.
good.
Self-affirmations.
I will pull out my sending stone and just kind of
Okay.
like look at it for a bit. But then I realize it's like kind of late and I'm just going to put it back in my bag.
Okay.
And then I'll go to bed.
All right. Did you take note in your moon journal?
Yes. Yeah. I still am
Okay.
tracking all that good stuff.
Yeah. So as you were coming into town, you
Mhm.
noticed that you are. It's now on a waxing gibbous.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
Should I ask about this moon journal?
You are not with her.
You don't know.
Rob
right.
metagaming knows that. Oh, this is going to be really interesting. Soros
I
has
know.
no clue.
I meant to. I backtracked.
I pulled it out in front of you guys. What do you could have asked?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I did.
But you didn't. So you
Mhm.
didn't do it.
I know. Next time, I'm sure it'll happen
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, but the night before you noticed it was beginning waxing gibbous, but it's now clearly waxing gibbous. So,
Okay.
yeah. Mhm. All right. Anybody else?
Kaiman's a simple little creature. He's asleep already.
Oh.
All right. Before you can even, good. And so, kind of night reaches you.
Does he sleep on his back with his little paws up?
I think he does,
Please.
I think he does like the crescent curl, but if like he's ever floating down a stream, he'll do the like.
Okay,
back
good.
One day, like Kaimana will wake up and we'll
We
all
have
just
to fix the stream
and
so we
watch
can send Kamana down it.
Yeah, it's like everybody else walks back, Kaiman just lazy rivers it back to the.
just adorable.
All right. After various different tasks and things, sleep does finally reach you. And most of you have fairly restful sleep, if somewhat disturbing. Like none of you can really like those of you who are immediately tuned into it. There's just something about this area and this close to the wood that is just discomforting. Although Mar, you're used to it enough that you sleep perfectly fine. Yeah, and so we're good to go. That completes a long rest. You get back your hit dice or half your hit dice. If you only rolled one, then you get it back, and you get back your full hit points and spell slots.
Yay!
Right? And as you awake the next morning, the sun kind of rising. You're used to hearing the sounds of various birds or things. You don't hear much of anything when you wake up that morning. It's not weird, Mar. You don't seem it's not weird to you, but for everyone else, like the lack of like songbirds early in the morning is a little off-putting or strange.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
Yeah, your hackles are still up from the night before for sure. All right, you all come down from your rooms to the main tavern area.
Yeah, I'm just stress eat whatever's left in my like food bag.
Okay, so you eat the leftovers of hash and cucumber sandwiches and whatever else is in there. Okay, or fish. Yeah.
Oh, fish.
Day and a half old fish.
It was already
It's
old
even
when you
better.
got it.
It was at least it was at least 6 or 7 hours old at that point. There's the night
makes
before.
makes it tastier.
All right, as you come down, the barmaid from the night before is gone. There's nobody manning the main bar area, but Cloudy is still working in the kitchen.
Okay. Abel will reluctantly, after seeing his performance dinner last night, will order some eggs and a double side of meat.
Okay. And so Cloudy kind of looks out the window and he's like, "Ah, yeah, I can do that. You think your friends will want some food as well?"
Let us ask.
Yes, please.
And
Yeah, it's
eventually-
just
yeah.
eggs for me.
Okay.
Yes.
So he similarly as you're watching, he goes back and there's this clattering of skillets and everything, and there's a flame, and you can just see that he's kind of kicked into high gear, and he's putting the meal together. And it's not too long before he walks out from the kitchen carrying plates, and he sets down just a plate of eggs in front of you, Mar, but then just this smorgasbord of just the most delectable looking sausages and hams and potatoes and eggs in front of everybody else.
I'll flip him another silver.
Well, thank you, little man. That's very, very kind of you. Thank you. And he kind of turns and walks back towards the kitchen.
Get to eating. Okay, so what do you all think the plan is for today? Should we see the mayor or the law master first?
The lawmaster's right across the street, so perhaps
Mhm.
start with the closest one.
Yes,
Yeah, and
please.
Storis, you look at you kind of had the contract in front of you, and the it doesn't say mayor or lawmaster on it, but the name of the person who took out the contract is named Muriel Redleaf, which is the name of the lawmaster that Thora gave you the night before.
Okay, Muriel.
All righty.
So you'll finish up your meals and and you head out. And it's weird this early in the morning. The entire eastern side of your view is taken up by the deep wood, and a large portion of the southern side of your view as well. And the sun is in the sky, but it's still behind these tall, towering trees. And for most of you, this is the first look that you're seeing of these trees, and they are old and gnarled and covered in moss and kind of like the Spanish moss type stuff there. And there's vines, and it's just this old forest. And it's very tightly kind of put together, and it's a very imposing feature. And it's blocking the sun currently from your view. But as you come out, you can see right across the street is the watchman's kind of outpost there.
Okay. So I guess we'll saunter up to the entrance.
Okay.
of
So you
the
go on
house.
in, and you head on inside. And this one is about the same size as the one in Broadfield. It's not too large, but they're sitting behind a desk. You see a short halfling woman with kind of braided red hair, and she's writing in something at her desk. But what immediately catches your attention besides her is that against the wall behind her, just standing there, are two half ogres. And they're just standing there, both of them kind of with a sword in their hand, this like the sword point at the ground, and they're just standing behind Muriel. And she like hears the door open, and she's like, "I just a minute, I'll be right with you." And after she finishes writing, she turns and says, "Hey, can I help you?"
I hold up
Uh,
the contract.
Okay, she kind of squints for a moment, and then you kind of see she's got a pair of like bispokes or whatever on her head, and she pulls those down, and she looks and she goes, "Hey, you must be the representatives from the Adventurers Guild. Let me see. Roland probably sent you. Is that correct?"
Yes.
Good. So you heard about our troubles with the river. So I can
What
give
can
you
you
any
tell
information
us
that
about
I
it?
have. Well, what I can tell you is that about 2 weeks ago, we started to see that the flow of the river was drowning down, but it hasn't rained here recently, so we thought perhaps that it might just be kind of a drought setting in. But over the course of that week, the flow got less and less until it became a trickle. The mill shut down. We lost all of. We used the river to transport logs downriver, and all that dried up. And there was some folk showed up about a week ago, and he promised to rid us of this. And he went into the woods and hasn't come out since. So that's about as much as we know of what's going in. Kind of just
what was the gentleman's name who came in one week ago?
Oh, I didn't. She kind of fumbles through some papers and she's looking at it and she's like, well, he didn't give me a name per se, I suppose, unless I mean his name he says was the Great Redfield. So Great Redfield, yes, Great Redfield. And she kind of looks at it and she's like, he was really a pompous fella, but he said he could take care of it. You know, but whatever it was, it didn't get taken care of. So I heard about the Adventurers Guild, so I sent off to Roland that if he had a band that could to fix our problem, that there's 100 gold in it from the town.
And so we are here.
Oh, very very good. I mean, as far as I know, if you follow the path of the river, it'll take you right into it, and you might be able to find whatever is blocking it or preventing it. I would stay out of the wood proper if you get my drift. Maybe stick to the path of the river. The deep wood is not a safe place for the uninitiated.
What is there to fear in the woods? I am not a native of the area.
What isn't there to fear?
Wood.
There's a lot of legends about the deep wood and the type of place it is, but we send a lot of people into the wood to harvest, to cut down trees, and it's not a season that goes by that somebody doesn't get gravely injured or hurt, and they don't always know what did it.
Kaimana like slowly turns to look at Mar.
I just looked down at Kaimana.
It's just this moment of like, you guys are making a connection with one another for sure.
Yeah. You're from the wood, right, Mar?
Yeah. There's a lot of shit in it.
Yeah. Anything in there that might stop a river?
I mean, can I roll like nature if I'm like, oh yes, the river stopping monster, of course.
Oh, good old river stopper.
Oh,
Yep,
is
that's
this
it.
like
Yes,
history,
like I said,
nature?
Yeah, do a history check. Yeah.
Like
The
I said, I'm voting for the.
hydrophage.
I'm voting
13.
for a very large beaver.
13.
17. I mean,
13. No.
oh, 13. Oh,
Not
13.
as good.
Like, you haven't heard of any kind of specific monsters that you know of that kind of mess with rivers,
Yeah.
but you know that something like that probably wouldn't be out of the question in the deep wood because the deep wood probably is just messing with these people for the hell of it.
Yeah.
like it's that kind of place where
Yeah.
weird things just happen.
I mean, it's just a weird place. I mean, it's honestly a lot of things come out of the veil there, so it's not, may not even be something super normal by the wood standards.
Fiendish creatures. I will the little magical infusion I made using like the little pebble I picked up when we fought like that roach thing. I'll pull it out. I'll show it to Miss Redleaf, and I'll ask her, has anything like this creature been seen in the area near the woods or on the river?
And Muriel kind of looks over the projection. She's like, "Hey, that's a cute little trick you got there."
It is
she's looking at it. Okay, artificer magic, of course. Let's see. No, I mean that's an onkeg. We run into those all the time. They don't necessarily live in the woods, but they sometimes build their tunnels into the woods for sometimes. But we've been dealing with onkegs for years.
So they probably would not be the culprit in this situation.
No, they don't like the water so much.
Well, we appreciate your input. Anything else we need to know about the river before we go?
I mean, it goes the furthest that I've traveled up. I don't like to go into the woods myself, but the furthest I've traveled up, it's a couple miles, and I didn't see anything change with the river. So it's further in than that. That's about as much as I can tell you. Look out for the other guy. We gave him an advance of coin payment, and maybe you can get some of it back for us.
What?
The expression on Grace's face is like, Yeah, I'm gonna give it right into my pocket.
No, I was like, I don't want to have to extort a man, but like, I am playing a character who will get the goddamn money. So, well,
Like I said, it's but you're not giving it back to the town. This is what I was picking, the vibe I was picking up on. It's just like,
Hey, they invested money to solve a problem. That's money well spent. That's what it's going towards.
Exactly. So,
and no survivors to pay off this time. So
I'm going to. I just thought about it. I'm going to like unprepare alarm. I think and switch over
From the
to-
morning.
Yeah, but continue, you guys, while I try to.
Yeah, I'm gonna change up
Alright.
my spell list, DM.
Yeah, feel free. And so, I mean, Muriel's kind of is there, and she's, it's early in the morning. I don't recommend traveling in the Deepwood at night. So I'd probably get a start on it now if you're going to go.
general store, best place to provision.
The general store is down this. If you head out here, the tavern's across the street. If you take all right out of the watchman's outpost, you go about 3 doors down. You can find the general store. You can ask for Dashel there. He's the proprietor of the general store.
Thank you.
And she kind of just sits and waits, and she's like, "Well, if you don't need anything else, I got to get back to some of my work." And she kind of just turns and starts writing in her ledger again.
I think we should take the river.
Okay, so you guys all head out. Were you gonna head to the general store, Source?
Yeah, but it's 10:02, so I'm thinking we break here since we're at a nice story beat and kind of like how we started this one, final prep and then leaving.
Sounds good to me.
Because
so
I
with-
feel like I've been physically beaten from work, so
I feel you.
mentally I'm gone.
I didn't know Rob is an MMA fighter.
I was looking at where we were in the story thing, and I was like, well, they've got about 25 more minutes, or we can break here, and so that works for me too. So we'll stop there. So thanks all for tuning in, and make sure you check us out next time on Casting Rolls.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
guys.
Great timing, Grace.
so here's the thing, Josh Bailey, is that you summoned the biggest fucking roach I've ever seen in my life in my goddamn house. I don't know what the fuck it is. I'm
Watch
going
out
to
for
get
its
it. I
venom
didn't
spray. Yeah.
I'm going
Oh
to
my
scream.
gosh.
I'm so mad.
We're giving you Bardic Inspiration, Grace. Go
Thank
get
you.
that.
Thank you.
Yeah, kill it with fire.
His cousin, I know.
Gonna go, gang.
All right, good night, guys.
Okay, good
Good
luck,
night.
guys.
Cheers. Thank you, everybody.